You know what I missed? Eating cereal in the morning and not having to worry about what was in it. But thanks to Magic Spoon, I can relive that joy all over again. Magic Spoon not only tastes good, but contains 0 grams of sugar. Wow. We also got 13 to 14 grams of protein to get you swole on and 4 to 5 net grams of carbs. For folks on a diet, it is also keto-friendly, gluten-free, grain-free, soy-free, and at 140 calories a serving, it's guilt-free too, y'all. They got 8 unique flavors, so you got variety. You got stuff like cocoa, fruity, frosted, and my personal favorite, cinnamon roll. And for all you birthday cake lovers out there, Magic Spoon has brought it back to stay. Myself, my friends, family, all dig Magic Spoon. It's still near the beginning of the year, so people are still trying to make healthy changes to their diet or working out, and Magic Spoon helps support all of that. Folks on keto, folks hitting the gym, they can eat Magic Spoon and get they swole on. Head to magicspoon.com/bomb to grab a custom bundle of cereal and to try Magic for yourself. And be sure to use our promo code BOMB at checkout to save $5 off your order. And Magic Spoon is so confident in their product, it's backed with a 100% happiness guarantee. So if you don't like it for any reason, they'll refund your money, no questions asked. Remember, get your next delicious bowl of guilt-free cereal at magicspoon.com/bomb and use code BOMB to save $5 off. Thank you, Magic Spoon, for sponsoring this episode. Yo, this year is the year to make your dreams come true, y'all. And part of making that dream come true probably includes building the website of your dreams with it. Make that virtual gallery dedicated to corner houses. Corner the market on corner websites with Squarespace. Squarespace is the all-in-one platform for building and growing your businesses, your ideas, and dreams all online. You don't need any experience, y'all, to build a great website that looks amazing, because Squarespace has all of the tools to help you get there, and they got you covered on domains too. It really is the one-stop shop for building that website you've always thought about making. Once you got that website up and running, Squarespace has analytical tools to help your business grow if you're starting one. And you can start one because you can create an online store to sell prints or digital stuff. And on top of that, again, Squarespace has all these custom templates to help you make everything look gorgeous. Head to squarespace.com/bombcast for a free trial. And when you're ready to launch, use offer code BOMBCAST to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. Squarespace! Hey everybody, it's the Giant Bombcast, episode 776. Ooh. Welcome to February 14th, 2023. That's right, it's the Valentine's Day edition of the Giant Bombcast. I hope you brought the flowers, because I've brought the chocolates. More like a dulce de leche type of box. When you look at my skin tone, it's more of a caramel type of thing. Ooh. Rather than a chocolate. It'd be disingenuous to say milk chocolate, so let's just go with dulce de leche. I'm not even quite sure how to spell that to double check. I'm your host for the Giant Bombcast, Janet Choa. In this box of chocolates, we've got the co-captain of this ship. He's full of nougaty goodness, Jeff Grubb.
I want to wish a happy holidays to all who celebrate. That's right, Magic Mike's Last Dance is in theaters now. It's a national holiday. Let's all go out there and celebrate those abs and those man nipples. I'm so excited. Ready to go.
That's right. The Bombcast now also brought to you by Man Nipples. Free the nips, boys. Start wearing the midriffs a little bit higher. Start wearing mesh tops. Jeff Bakalar is also here. You're used to him being cold, but tonight he's bringing the heat.
I'm bringing all kinds of heat, especially this real hot sickness that I can't shake. It's going to be real mucusy and delicious.
That's right. We're going to shake something else today on the Giant Bombcast. How's it? I can't do this for the whole show.
Dude, it's okay. I don't blame you. Who could blame you? I just feel like every year I'm supposed to watch like a romantic movie with my wife. And
My wife.
for people who used to listen to the Beastcast, one year we chose Eyes Wide Shut. And let me tell you, I had seen that a bunch. My wife had
to just stick to Magic Mike. I don't get it. I don't know why you won't listen to me.
like she's watched that so many times by herself.
What about Jacob
Especially
Slatter?
when I go away for work. What?
Weird.
Jacob Slatter, isn't that a romantic rom-com?
No. I think we're good. So I want to watch like a comedy.
Okay.
So I think we settled on The Big Sick with Kumail. And
Okay.
and like I don't know if it's his real wife, but it's based on like the real story. I know Showalter directed it, so we're gonna watch that. I feel like I'm getting away with like a little bit of crime there. It's not like a super romantic movie.
I mean, it's a true story about that. It's a good movie. Yeah, I think you'll be fine as long as you're okay with like near-death experiences and all that. And people, okay, yeah. All right,
Yeah,
you're more excited, all
serendipity, right? It's near
Yeah.
death, not death. So
That's true.
it's fine.
It's
a little bit
just
of
coma.
excitement.
It's coma stuff, right?
Yes.
Like
Actually, nothing's more romantic than someone being in a coma. Tom Hanks
True.
taught us that.
exactly,
Oh, yeah.
as did Sandra Bullock and Peter Gallagher. We
I
all
was
know that.
trying to think of that Sandra Bullock movie. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which one is While You Were Waiting? Is that Tom Hanks?
Sleeping.
While You Were Sleeping? Is that a one about a lady in a coma? I actually have never seen it. I just assumed.
Peter Gallagher goes into a coma, and he thinks, and he wakes up, and he's like, I don't know who I am.
You mean Bill
And then-
Pullman?
No, Bill Pullman's the brother.
No,
Oh.
no, Gallagher, the guy with the hammer and the watermelon. Sorry,
R.I.P. Number one. Number two.
Because there's two Gallaghers. Yeah.
Yeah, yes, Peter Gallagher is the handsome gentleman who like has amnesia. Bill Pullman is his brother, who Sandra Bullock I think winds up coming together with.
And it's
Okay.
Sleepless in Seattle. They're both ghosts, right?
No.
Sleepless in Seattle.
There's
Yes,
a
they're both
bookstore.
ghosts in the radio waves,
Okay, that sounds
Yeah.
right. Yeah.
broadcasted from the Empire State Building.
And then what's that Angels, City of Angels, the Nick Cage one where he's actually an angel and he haunts.
That's
Okay.
actually a reinterpretation of the story of Passover.
I know all the romantic movies. I got them all, and of course Jewish holiday movies, as you were pointing out. Yeah.
Of course.
I mean,
Yes.
the Backlar family makes sure to watch Nick Cage's Ghost Rider every major significant Jewish holiday because of
Every
the,
Sabbath, of
every
course.
Sabbath,
Yes.
of course, right? Yeah, it's what you got to do. Johnny Blaze is ready to light that menorah, baby.
So all of a sudden I was reminded of Clueless. Maybe it was because of the Super Bowl commercial. I don't know why.
Sure. I actually didn't
okay.
watch that commercial. How was that commercial?
I thought it was pretty good. Have I talked about how maybe I've said it here or the dump truck, but how Clueless, in my opinion, like set the trend for porn
What?
for the next like quarter century?
I think we've done this, and I think we got really yelled at. I think last time. So keep
Did
going.
we yelled at?
Yeah. All right. Proceed. We're past the first minute. Anything
Yeah,
goes now.
here's what happened. You said that, and then me and Jan very quickly were like, well, the reason they do stepsister and stepbrother is because of laws. And then everyone's like, Jan,
right.
Jeff, why do you guys know that? And then, so yeah.
Right,
So
right.
go
It's
ahead,
all
get us in trouble again.
Step porn is so hot right now. Okay, I'm glad
Now
I said
it's
right
been
now.
a thing, dog.
Oh,
Christian, I need
yes,
to-
of course,
need to get
right?
that
But
clip
like,
for me.
yeah, oh, shit, I left too much space. Anyway, there's
That is the premise of one of those films.
Clueless is just about having sex with your step sibling. That's all that movie is. Essentially, like, wait a minute, I love Elton. Yes, you love your stepbrother, and your
Now-
stepbrother loves you, and you're gonna get married.
The Shakespeare play that it's based on, again, listen, I've read it all, of course. I'm an expert on Shakespeare. This one I'm just having trouble
Brazzers,
remembering.
the Shakespeare play. Brazzers.
Yeah, this one I'm having trouble remembering. Were they step siblings in the Shakespeare play, or was that just made up for?
First of all, whatever was happening in Shakespearean times was way more taboo than
Yeah, okay.
whatever the fuck is going down on the 1995 classic Clueless.
Right. Okay.
The fact that they didn't get Dan Hedaya for the commercial, though, is troubling, to say the least. That's Cher's dad in the movie, which he's
Her
really
name was
funny.
Cher. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah,
I love that actor.
he's
Him,
great.
Judd Hirsch, who me and my wife refer to as Hirschman. Whenever we see him, we get very excited.
Sounds anti-Semitic, but yeah.
But it's not. It sounds like it, but I swear it's not. We love them. And those two guys, pretty much. That's about it. Yeah.
Just those. Okay, cool.
Just those guys. That's all the
like
actors we care about.
Dan Hedaya is probably like pushing 80. Geez, I hope he's alive. But yeah, he's got to be. What is he? He's 82. Good for him.
Good for Dan.
So real quick, I thought this was funny, and I feel like I should share it.
Please.
I had a dentist appointment this morning. I was getting some shit done.
Yeah.
And I had like a botched root canal from like many years ago, where they had to take the tooth out completely, and I just been pushing off getting the implant. So this guy did X-rays, and he's sending me to a surgeon, and he goes, "You're all set," and he hands me a CDR. And I'm like, what? Yeah. I'm like, excuse me? Like,
I thought you gave toothbrushes.
I was like, is this my goodie bag? He's like, yeah, here you go. I was like, what? I was like, oh, doctor, like, this is, you know how insane this is, right? Like you couldn't email me a file? Like, why does this exist?
Like, listen, we bought the CD burner. We're going to use it.
I said, he's like, well, you could put it on your computer and send it to the surgeon. I go, I don't have a disk drive, sir. It's 2023, sir.
I got 40 keyboards. None of them take discs.
Yeah, there's not one slot on any of the keyboards. It's crazy. The CD is just like, and you could tell, you know, when you could like look on the back of a CDR and you could just see like the tiniest bit that was burned, right? Like they didn't even, it's maybe like 20 megabytes.
One micrometer, yeah.
So much space on that bad boy.
You're just like, this could have been an attachment. I don't understand. What happened? That's what they do. It's like lawyers and fax machines. They like can't let go of the past. Mm-hmm. I don't know what it is. I thought it was wild.
Can't beat a hard copy. You just can't beat a hard copy. I bet he says that a lot. Can't beat a hard copy.
I think what for fax stuff for fax?
No, I don't agree with it. I'm just saying these are the kinds of things that the people like to say. They just
I
really like
lawyers,
that phrase. Can't beat a hard copy.
Yeah, well, there's that. They're hard copy pervs for sure. I also think with lawyers, it's like this is the only unforgeable medium we have left.
It's perfectly secure.
No one's ever intercepted a fax. I'm telling you, no one has ever gotten in front of a fax machine and taken the paper out. It's never happened. The fuck?
Now that it's getting me to plan like Mission Impossible styles things I could do with fax machines, like just the paper is pre-printed and somehow it stops like the fax printer from working on it. So it just shoots out and it already says something. You just have to break in and put the paper in. All right, we can use this for something. I'm gonna stop talking before this gets used in court.
Come on, TM.
Excuse my ignorance here. This might be due to my age, but what's a fax? How do you send a fax?
Shut the fuck up, Jan. You're not that young. What are you talking
You've
about?
never sent a fax? I mean, listen, I've only sent a couple of faxes in my life. Recently, because I bought a house and they wanted a fax. But I think even then, I just went and I bought one online. And I never actually had a piece of paper that I put in a fax machine. I just digitally sent a fax. So it's basically the equivalent of an email. It's just, you write on a piece of paper, you put it in the machine.
It's like a text. It's like a slow text message.
Yeah, like super slow text message, but it's like the paper gets copied. It's like two copy machines on each side, and then there's a phone line in between.
That's
and then when you copy it on one side, it gets copied on the other.
Yeah, it's just you scan a sheet, and through wires and tones, the receiving fax machine interprets those tones and is able to print out a close to a carbon copy of what was originally scanned.
And that's supposed to be like a near infallible method of sending stuff?
Well, according to lawyers, but no. No, not really.
I mean, I don't know. I know plenty of lawyers under like 40, and they all subscribe to the same school of thought. So, it's
are they in big fax pocket though? You know,
the pocket of big facts. You mean?
I think they are in a world where things have already been settled about how you do things, and but I mean, I don't know. I used to work as a courier, and they would have to send a lot of stuff just physically, like things they wouldn't fax. They're like, no, we have to like actually get this important original document from here to another side of town by the end of the day. So can we fax that? No, we have to put in a big bundle and have Jeff Grubb come send it over there in his little blue Kia.
But like, see, I think couriers are more useful than fax machines, like especially in like Manhattan, right? Or where it's just like a guy on a bike and he's going to get it to you in like 11 minutes. Okay. But it's just crazy. Like, I don't like a fax machine also doesn't work a lot. Like there's a lot of things that will like fail.
Yeah, there's a lot of there's a lot of
it.
things in the link that could fail, right? Like if the phone line is busy, if someone likes using a share phone line, or if there is no paper in the fax machine, or it's just turned off,
or has like no toner, or like whatever the fuck. And then you got to like call the motherfucker on the other end and be like, did it go through? Did it go through? And there's like, you know, and then the fax machine will be like, I think I sent it. Call your recipient to make sure it went through. It's insane. Absolutely insane. I don't know how it's a thing, but look, I guess the CDR is better than a fax machine when it comes down to it. But I just could not believe it. I was like, doctor, I was just like,
right there with you.
How are we in 2023 and you have handed me a disc? Someone in chat's like, oh, on the disc is probably the proprietary application that can only see the file, which is also just like,
you could send that too, though. I guess.
Of course you could. Of course you could. The
so
CDR holds less than a gig. It holds less than a gig.
They're also engaged in piracy because they're like illegally copying this program and like distributing it. So like, that actually rules. Never mind. I'm on board again.
What could how much how useful could that shit be? Like, is it a thing where like, oh, it's interactive? Maybe there's like a lot of metadata on the image file and you can like put it in the dentist program and the dentist program be like, oh, it's tooth 18 and 19. I don't know. I'm sure it's like useful, but also what are we doing? Why I'm sorry. I don't know. The future doesn't work is what I always say. Everything is broken. And I'm just not impressed with anything.
Yeah, I guess so. Someone in chat, I can't remember who it was. Let's see. Oh, yeah. Propaganda Panda sent what looks like a sales page for an online faxing service. So I don't know how much we can trust this, but they say, apart from affordability and flexibility, what made lawyers prefer faxing is privacy and security that come along with the service. And I guess the idea is like you're dialing from your phone to another phone directly, and there wouldn't be something in between, right? It is not like it's going to a cloud service and then to them, which is what email does.
But like at the other end of the fax machine could literally be anybody.
Yep.
Yeah, that doesn't seem that secure. What if, like, you know, intern Steve is passing by and it's like, oh, I'm gonna get. I
don't trust intern Steve.
You know. Yeah, intern Steve's a big piece of poop. He drinks the last cup of coffee, doesn't start a new pot. Come on, Steve.
You hear how he treats Meredith in accounting? Fucking asshole, Steve.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, Steve. Steve, this is not a game. Just like, Greg, you were going to say something. I didn't want to cut you off.
Yeah, just can you hear this if I do this? Let me, hang on.
Oh, the sound? Oh, I hope he's familiar with the sound. I'm sure he is. Maybe it's more like...
You guys hear that?
Negative.
No. You've heard like the AOL sound, right? The modem sound.
What,
Jan? Yeah. That's what he's probably trying to pull up, like the modem handshake sound.
Just one sec. I have to dial the number again. Let's see.
Are you calling your local AOL server?
92955.
Oh, he's calling someone.
RIO. All right. Now, if I hit this and then I hit this, you guys should hear it now. In a second, once it dials.
Thank you for calling Super Mario Brothers Plumbing. It's me, Luigi. If you need service, please text us at the same number you just called, 92955-MARIO. That's 929-556-2746. Message us about any issues wherever you live, house, condo, mansion, and we'll be sure to text you back right away because at Super Mario Brothers Plumbing, we don't say let's wait. We say let's go. Oh, and check our website, SMB.
All right, thank you. Okay.
Another chance where Chris Pratt could have spoken, but they gave the lines to Charlie Day.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's Charlie Day. If you want, what's more pleasant when you like call a number and it's like, oh, I got to get to an answering machine. Oh, what a pleasant demeanor you have, Charlie Day.
Yes, I would rather listen to Charlie Day any day of the week.
Now, Beck, I wanted to ask, how'd you feel about his pronunciation of Mario?
I thought about that as well.
So he said Mario.
How do you say, wait. How do you say mansion?
Mansion.
One more time.
Mansion.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, like, you know, look, I tweeted during the Super Bowl that commercial that was on, right? Did you guys see it?
Yes.
The narrator, or rather, maybe I forget, they said Mario at the beginning, but then the woman who was in the kitchen said Mario. She said it twice. She said Mario twice.
Yeah.
So I like that look, I like being seen. Who doesn't like being seen, right?
It's nice to be represented
Amen.
in media for once. Yeah, absolutely.
I just think like they really were super diplomatic about all the Mario pronunciations. It's just nice, it's just real nice to see with that kind of spotlight, like Super Bowl commercial. Feels good.
Yeah.
Anyway, I guess if anyone else wants, it's 92955 Mario. So you want to give Charlie Day Luigi.
The website's pretty cool too.
Yeah, it's actually really nice. There's some cool stuff happening there. There's
You
a
think-
review from someone called Bro's Mother, and then it's the first time I thought about, wait, are the Mario Brothers going to have a mom in this movie? 'Cause I need to see that.
She better be wearing overalls.
I think it should be played by Snooki. I think Snooki would be a great Mario Brothers mom.
Take it easy. Take it easy.
Sorry, I know it's a touchy subject with y'all over there, but I still believe in Snooki.
Thank God. At least someone does. Hammond of
She
Texas.
exists. She's
we're
real.
All, we're
She's
all
real.
thinking that too. I didn't want to say it. Is Mommy Mario dummy thick? Let me tell you, happy Valentine's Day to you, buddy.
Overall, she's that.
Hey, before we get to the games, did you think if you called Charlie Day with like a household issue, he would know what to do, or he'd try?
He would try.
Are you talking about like Charlie Day as Luigi?
No, like shoot Charlie Day.
Oh
No, don't shoot
I don't-
Charlie Day. That's not what I mean. I mean like real Charlie Day.
Yes, you see, you can't speak in wrestling all the time. This is
I
what
did
happens.
a quick look with Dan earlier, all right?
Yeah.
And then it just like
Mine.
it puts you into like a brain wavelength.
I don't know. I feel like listening to their podcast as much as I do, or rather watching it, you kind of realize like, hey, you know what? They don't go around saying this, but the three of them are pretty much like versions of the Sunny characters.
Yeah.
Like that's just
Oh,
sort of
yeah.
who they are.
Yeah.
And I don't think Charlie is as handy as Charlie on the show pretends to be, if that makes sense.
I watched Crank over the weekend, and
Okay.
Glenn Howerton. Yeah, listen,
My
this
favorite
new-
rom-com.
Well, yeah, listen to that.
Glenn Howerton in that?
Yes, he is. He plays a doctor where with that like reluctantly gives him the adrenaline or whatever. Yes, it was weird. I'm like, what is going on? Also, Glenn Howerton's in a new movie where he's playing
Yeah.
someone who's bald, and I'm like, who
Yeah.
is that?
The Blackberry movie, yeah.
A Blackberry movie. That is the craziest. They're making a Blackberry movie, first of all, and Glenn Howerton's like the CEO and has a weird bald cap on. It's a
I think
wild
Jay
thing.
Baruchel is in it as well.
Yeah.
Canada's own Jay Baruchel, yeah.
Yeah,
Lot of sex
he's
for
the
it.
one that did Goon, right?
Correct.
Yeah, Goon is a very good movie.
Yeah, this has a decent cast, the Blackberry movie. It's called Blackberry.
All right,
In
I mean,
case-
listen, they're going
yeah.
out on a limb there. All right, then.
The log line is the story of the meteoric rise and catastrophic demise of the world's first smartphone.
When am I going to get my T-Mobile Sidekick movie? This is horse shit.
It's only
Honestly,
a
that was
matter
more
of time.
interesting than a fucking. That was more interesting than a BlackBerry. Let's
Let
be
me
honest.
let
Also,
me tell you, the level of swag as soon as you saw someone like pull a sidekick
Dude,
out of their pocket.
I had two of them. They
Yo.
were so sick.
I loved my Sidekick.
I think the third one
like
where it
6
was
of
like
them that I had.
real thin and like sort of like rose gold.
Yeah, like
And
the
that-
Sidekick LX or whatever, something like that.
Sure.
God, I love
Yeah.
those things.
So sick. Just this internet speed was garbage, but it was so sick. These movies, I don't know if anyone's been paying attention, but like all of the Silicon Valley movies, not aging so well. Okay, if you watch The Social Network now, you're like, what the fuck's that story even about? It's literally about nothing that matters now.
Yeah,
it
but
has
I'm
no
not listening to the
relation.
story. I'm listening to that awesome soundtrack, and
You're
then
listening to Trent Reznor. You're
yeah,
doing
Trent
your
Reznor,
Jesse
yeah, Atticus
Eisenberg.
Ross, and then I'm just like sort of letting the vibes wash over me. It's still a very watchable
good
movie,
film.
although it just is completely unmoored from reality now. You're right. Like
It's
it just
about
has
a thing
nothing
that, like-
to do with anything that we talk about with Facebook anymore.
It's hilarious. like
Facebook,
you
what's
watch
Facebook?
that. Exactly. You watch that movie now and you're just like, is this a fantasy film about something else? It really is
Like,
a time
those
capsule.
twins are going to become Bitcoin assholes. That this guy is going to lose a bunch of money trying to do VR stuff that he doesn't understand, trying to make Second Life happen again. And it's like, man, well, yeah, they completely.
And he's going to take down democracy.
exactly.
All the while he's hawking barbecue sauce. What is the deal with this guy?
Who would have thought? Trent Reznor, this is your fault.
Of all the things he ruined, ruining Sweet Baby Ray's is maybe his greatest crime of all.
Bastard.
A real quick story about Glenn Howerton. I saw him pop up in a horror movie, and I was like, "Hey, it's him from It's Always Sunny," and then he immediately died. So let's talk about video games. Jeff Baclar, you were out sick last week, and we did talk about the tape-to-tape demo with Jesse Vitelli, but I need to hear your take on tape-to-tape.
So, you guys remember, I've played this game before. I played this game like months ago.
I swear you did.
Right? I swear, and I feel like I talked
an early look at it, right? Didn't we look at it? I don't remember.
Was it was it an UPF? It might have been. It was an
UPF. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
We did it. Yeah, we did it on a UPF, and I was pretty down on it. I was like, this is not good. I don't like the hockey. I don't like the skating around. It just doesn't feel good. All it really was back then was this sort of like, hey, this is the arcade sort of hockey that we have. Now they've released a new demo that's a bit more complete, and I'm gonna say that I'm officially on board.
Oh,
that's nice to hear.
Cool,
right? You love to hear it. Like, not a lot of people saw this coming. This is very exciting for only
swerve.
Me. Yeah. I zigged when you thought I was gonna zag, and here I am. And look, the arcade hockey in this game still, in my opinion, leaves a bit to be desired. I think there's some fine tuning that needs to happen. It's very easy, which obviously can be sort of sweetened and refined, and hopefully that improves to be more challenging and more fun. But everything else about it just feels good, and I think it's the overall package. I think there's a really cool art style that's sort of coming out of this that feels kind of like SpongeBob-y in a way. It does feel a bit like Nickelodeon cartoon kind of design.
Oh, I guess I see what you mean by that.
Yeah,
kind of like the really harsh jaws.
Yeah, and like lips, like big lips, like there's something about like Ren and Stimpy, Nick cartoon like lips that I sort of like
powerful lips. Yeah.
Big powerful. So for whatever reason I draw that from this game, but all the character designs are hilarious. The players on the ice some of them do like a real fun shimmy when they score. That is just doesn't get old. There's a team that's entirely referees, and the referee reffing the game like is it's like throwing it for them. That's really funny. And the thing I'm sort of skipping over is the whole sort of like roguelite element of this of this hockey experience. And I think like that stuff kind of. So far, it's mostly cosmetic for me, because I think the perks and the buffs and all the things you sort of get in your player cards as you traverse through each sort of world, there's not a big sort of tangible effect of what those things do. Mm-hmm. Like you'll have like, this now you've earned the right, so like your defenseman can shoot a curved slap shot from the blue line, which sounds pretty cool. And there's one perk where like any slap shot you take will hit someone in the face. You're like, all right, well, that's probably useful. All that stuff is fun for the most part. I do kind of want to see how deep this whole thing goes. You're charting along like a world stage, and there's a fork in the road, and you either go one way or the other. Sometimes it's a game. Sometimes it's like a little campfire where you earn some kind of
campfire on the rink. That's dangerous.
Yeah, in the sort of overworld there. So it's cool. I can see myself playing through it. I did the demo twice now, and I found it to be pretty cool. Not a ton of deviation or variation, rather, in like both of those branches that I took, but I'm officially on the optimism side, as opposed to the questionable side. So I am excited for the final product.
I think it's cool to be hopeful for that, because it's like it's a good idea, or it's an interesting idea. I really don't fully understand what the implications of hockey roguelite are still, but what you are going to want is those runs to feel pretty different going on. So I'm like, okay, well, that's something. But that's something. It took Hades a year of early access to really dial that stuff in and become this incredible Hades or incredible roguelite that had a ton of variety in how you played the game and building on that stuff. So I'm happy to let games like this just take their time and find their footing.
Totally.
It's good. It's good. That sounds like they are heading in that direction.
Yeah,
exactly. And I think that's the best sign, right? Is the difference between that first demo and this one, and how much meaningful progress has been made. From my POV, it's mostly like the packaging and the overall sort of feel. Everything is like real smooth. There was a bit of wonkiness the first time, and I think a lot of that's been erased for the most part. And just the whole presentation is pretty solid. So
how randomized is it on a level to level basis? Because I think I would have really enjoyed Curse to Golf if that was just straight up curated levels versus like randomized courses.
Yeah, I think that is not as satisfying as I'm hopeful it will be further down. I think both of my playthroughs, and I'm already on my third one, there hasn't just been like enough meaningful sort of effect in the game. It's also because I just play a hockey arcade sim and I'm just like playing it the way I play anything, and I'm just gonna score and do my thing. So maybe I have to also try and lean into those perks a little bit, into the things that I'm earning, but it should also like have a meaningful impact, right?
Totally.
Like the game should kind of steer you there, right?
Well, I think what should happen is you should play the game the way you normally play it, and the perks that you're getting should then layer on top of the things you're already doing,
right?
So that those things feel even cooler and more effective. Totally. And that's the way you actually do a game like this. You can just start off playing the game like you would play it, and then you get pretty deep into a run, and suddenly you're just doing checks. But now the checks are catching people on fire or whatever, or doing whatever they can do. But you're still just doing the same exact thing. It just feels even better, and then maybe that changes the way you play. You shouldn't have to change the way you play to just get access to that different stuff.
Agreed. So yeah, I'm cautiously optimistic that stuff starts to feel more tangible. There was one really good moment where I earned something that told me in a third period the referee would start checking the opposing team. So that was cool, seeing that happen. The harder you land a check, the longer the receiver of that check is like sort of concussed and knocked out and seeing stars. So
the only time it's funny to laugh about a concussion in a video game.
That's the only time. But yeah, it's cool. I'm into it. And I just really dig the art style too. I think there's a fun kind of like medieval metal hockey thing happening there. So that's a checkbox for everyone on the list there.
Sick. Glad to hear.
Is that demo going to just be up, or is it coming down with the Next Fest? Do you know?
That's a good question. I know it is attached to Next Fest, but I do not know if it's
a lot of those demos just stay up. So
yeah,
hopefully it just stays up, because I'm going to check in on it again.
Yeah, go check it out. It's pretty cool where it's at right now.
Hell yeah. Another game that we talked about last week that we're going to talk about again this week is Final Fantasy still can't say it. Theatrhythm. Final bar line.
The at rhythm.
Sorry. Let me tell you. I enjoy Final Fantasy music just like mostly everyone, and I feel like I've heard a lot of this music throughout my years in gaming. And this is an absolute joy to play. Just watching these little chibi characters. And the thing that I guess I didn't realize is this: yes, you can play these levels and get through them, and get through the actual level and the song, but there's also an additional progression of actually beating the level and completing the quest. So you have to balance your party, and you are building and leveling up a party that is also going through the level. And you are also firing off summons and everything. And it's kind of, I get distracted watching these little chibi people go at it while watching the rhythm lanes go. And I got to say, this hits that box, folks. This hits that box of feeling the music as you are going with the rhythm. And I realize that is very important in a rhythm game, but it's satisfying, as you're hitting the beats.
Cool runnings thing? I feel like that was a cool runnings thing. You said the cool runnings
It's
thing.
always a cool runnings thing. That's been my whole shtick from the get-go. I'm glad finally someone got it. 5 years of working here, and I've constantly been referencing cool runnings. But like the lanes, they feel good. And I think the thing that I kind of got hung up on was there are occasional notes where you have to hold the button and it'll go up and down. And I think because I'm playing on these third-party Joy-Cons, it's occasionally not registering. I think that was more of like a me thing rather than the game thing. And I think I just loved getting a party full of himbos. So you get your Cloud Strife, you get a Sephiroth, you get a Tidus from FF10, and then you get a Squall or Leon, whatever the heck you want to call him. And then it's like,
Himbo,
all right,
that's the Himbo Mount Rushmore right there.
is the Himbo Mount Rushmore. And then you take all these himbos, and then they're over leveled because they're like level 30 now, and they just blast through these early Final Fantasy games. And they were like, yo, this one with just chocobos? No, we got it. The Himbo Hall of Fame got him. It's great. It's fun. If you're looking for a rhythm game and you have some type of reverence for the Final Fantasy series, there's a lot of great reproductions of the music there. I started blasting. I think it's the waltz from Final Fantasy VIII, and my partner looked up, and she doesn't play much video games, and she was like, "Oh, hey, that was my Cotillion song. What is that from?" And I was like, "You had this in your Cotillion, and you didn't know what it was from? What?"
That's incredible.
And then I had to describe what a gunblade was and how amazing the concept of a gunblade was. And this made me think of how disappointing the Kingdom Hearts rhythm game was. It came out like 2 years ago. Just was not as fun as this is. I would have just preferred more chibi people in that. Maybe a quick look coming soon. Yeah, let's just jam out to some music.
I'm like interested to see the game. Because I'm assuming it is. From what you described, like it's a track of notes, right?
Yes.
So it's kind of like Elite Beat Agents meeting Guitar Hero, basically, right?
Yeah, 100%.
Okay, that sounds like a good time, especially if it's music that you care about. So yeah, that'd be fun.
And then it just got me thinking, like, I feel like any long-standing game series just needs a rhythm game. Give me a Mario one, give me a Metal Gear one, just like Snake and Raiden just running down as like Snake Eater plays, and then they just jump in a Jeep.
Yeah, the score's been burned in everyone's memory. Like, it should be celebrated for sure.
Oh,
Yeah.
I also love that you could take your party of himbos and go to the Final Fantasy himbo game, and then just watch that car just cruise down the note highway, and as it's cruising down an actual highway. My one complaint of the game, other than my Joy-Cons being funky, is sometimes there's too much going out on screen that I can't really appreciate the fun stuff going on. It's like my attention, man. Like, I can't look in two places at once.
Sure.
Yeah.
Is it always the chibi characters, or like did they ever become like the Final Fantasy VII remake characters or whatever?
So they're always chibi, but just like in a karaoke video, sometimes the background video.
Understood.
Yeah.
Okay.
There we go.
I get it now. So they're just popping off in the background. That's the distracting part. That sounds very distracting, but you kind of want that stuff too. Like,
yeah,
that's like, oh yeah, now it's time to get hyped during the scene. Like, if they're going to summon Bahamut or whatever. I don't know how to say Bahamut, but yeah, you're going to summon Bahamut. I want that popping off right when everything crescendos. I would love that. Yeah.
They also got Final Fantasy 14 stuff in it, Ziv stuff in it. So, for all you pervs out there, you get your music with Ishtola and whatever the other names are. So there you go. Also, Final Fantasy 11. This has too much music in it, I think. All right. Something that came out recently that Grub, you and I have been checking out, and you checked out in UPF, was the Game Boy and GBA stuff on the Nintendo Switch Online.
Yeah, it was a fun announcement during the Nintendo Direct last week. It launched later that day, and I got on there with like, it's Game Boy, Game Boy Advance. Those, Nintendo should be able to do some pretty decent emulators for that. They nailed it. They basically got everything exactly right. It's super accurate. People have been breaking out that emulator, running tests on it. And there's a couple of like test ROMs you can run, and they could say, well, how accurate is this emulator? And there's only a handful that pass all the tests in this battery of tests, and this passed all of them. So it's like, okay, so it's like this super accurate emulator out of Nintendo. I think that's the Game Boy Advance one specifically, but both are very well done. And yeah, it's great to go on there and just play some of those games. I think they work really well on the Switch. I think Game Boy Advance games especially look really good on the OLED screen. The colors just pop off. It's great. It's really nice. And then the online multiplayer, being able to just hop on, and I played some Tetris with Mike online. That was really cool too. It's just really awesome that they're doing this, and they're doing Game Boy and Game Boy Advance at the same time, so we don't have to wait hoping they'll do Game Boy Advance one day. We got both. And now we can pine for certain games to come along, but we already know there's a handful coming for each, like Golden Sun and the Oracle games for Game Boy and Game Boy Color. So yeah, it's pretty cool stuff. What have you been spending your time with? I'm curious.
So I really have a high reverence for the Wario Land games, and I'm kind of bummed we only got one of them. I would have really liked the
three, right? Or one.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, Wario Land 3. Yes, we got Wario Land 3.
That's what I meant. Yes, the third one, I should say. Yeah. Yes.
The Wario games on the GBA are also absolutely fantastic. I hope we get those. And I think I think my brain chemistry is messed up because here's a little guilty secret, everyone. I don't think I've ever finished a mainline Mario game outside of a 3D one, but I've finished all of the Wario ones because I tried Wario first. Because I thought Wario was cooler, and I was right. Because he likes garlic, and I love garlic.
Garlic and gold, just like Jan.
That's true. So I completely steamrolled through Wario Land 3, and it was
you like Wario Land, we got to do Pizza Tower. Then I'm sorry, I didn't know you were this hot on Wario stuff. You got to see Pizza Tower.
The WarioWare stuff I love just because of the mini games.
Pizza Tower's not actually. I misspoke when we talked about this. It's Wario Land meets Tony Hawk, not WarioWare. It is a Wario Land game. It is just like if you could do all of Wario's moves from like Wario Land 1 and 2. But then you could combo them and then run up the wall and grind and slide. It's incredible. You got to see it. But yeah, go on about the Wario games and all that.
Oh, I just loved Wario Land 3, and I hope and pray that we get 1, 2, and then the other GBA titles, because the GBA Wario games got really weird. Like they had a time mechanic where you had to rush all the way back to the beginning of the level. It got real crazy.
Yeah, that is weird. I forgot about that. I mean, I like the idea of Wario Land 3 where Wario's a bad guy, so he can't get killed by other bad guys. That would be stupid. Yeah. So instead, when you run into like a fire enemy, you don't die. You're set on fire, and now you can solve puzzles using that fire that is on your body. That's a cool idea. I like that, but also I really like the platforming game that was Wario Land 1 too, or Wario Land 1 as well.
Wario is basically Nintendo's Wolverine. Invincible.
Yes, exactly. Yes.
Short, squat, fat ass, and everything. We all know that Logan has a fat dumpy.
Yeah, Wario's broken up all of Cyclops' relationships as well. So yeah.
I think the game that I'm actually going to go back to just for nostalgia purposes, and that's it. I don't plan on finishing the game, but like I don't think there's a Mario game I played more than Super Mario Land 2. 6 golden coins for whatever reason. Like I've played, I who knows how much time I've racked up with that one, but like that, I've not seen that in probably 25 years. So I just want to play that game where you're just like, oh, I wonder what this evokes. I wonder what like I go back to, right? That's gonna be fun. There's something about that game that really clicked with me. I think it was the first one was sort of janky, right?
Yeah, the problem with the first one is they really just could not get the physics system down. Yeah. So Wario was like this like analog moving piece on the screen, and it never felt anywhere close to right. They got a lot better with that with Land 2.
Was that the one with like all the it looked like Easter Island statues he was like jumping over or something like that?
I think so. And like he he could fly in a plane and stuff, and he could do. Yeah, I think that's right.
Yeah, So I definitely finished Mario Land 2 probably 3 or 4 times back in the day.
It runs great on. I mean, obviously, the Game Boy game should, but it's like the emulation's really good, and the music all holds up, and it's a good way to play that game because if you are just diving in for nostalgia, the rewind feature's built right in. You just hold L and R, and you can rewind and fix your mistakes without having to be like, oh, I'm going to punish myself and go back to the beginning. No, it's just an easy breezy time. So I was never a Super Mario Land guy, or so And I actually on the Game Boy, I definitely preferred the Wario Land games, but I still there's a lot of great stuff in Super Mario Land 2 specifically. And then, well, the Super Mario Land music is actually probably GOAT.
Yeah,
actually the best music ever. It's so good. But Super Mario Land 2, all that stuff it still holds up surprisingly well for being an early Game Boy game. You know, not as quite as early as Super Mario Land, but it's still pretty early. I like it a lot. But okay, go ahead.
I was gonna say, here's the thing though. I don't think I could play this in front of my kid.
Really?
I think there are certain things.
Would they make fun of you?
Yeah, I think I think this is the cutoff. Like like he really was being charitable with like Mario 3.
Yeah.
Right? Like the end, he's like, "That's cute, Dad. That's real." You know, this he's gonna call me something.
He's reading, right? He's reading.
Yeah, he can read.
Okay, here's what you do. When he starts making fun of you, be like, okay, well, look, we'll go to the Game Boy Advance instead and have him play Mario and Luigi's Superstar Saga.
Oh, my God.
I think this could be a formative game for him because it's so funny. It's so well done.
Yeah.
There's so many great characters. It's got a great RPG like combat system where it's all timing, just like Super Mario RPG. Okay. And it owns so hard. It's such a good game. And this is a great way to play it. And it's there. It's just on Switch now, which is incredible. It's so cool that they did it. So yeah, introduce him to that. I would be interested to hear his take and see if it's something I can catch on with a kid.
Okay, I'll try that. I gotta rip him away from regular show. That's all that he is. So he we started watching it a couple years ago, but then he came back to it last weekend in a way that like we are just ripping through all those seasons. What a fucking show that!
It's a really good show. I love regular show. My kids caught it on HBO recently, and they're young, but they're just like, wait, what is this? This is like, I'm like, you guys don't understand half the things they're referencing here. But of course, yeah, Dylan wouldn't either, right? So
no, but he just like, you know, it's just, and I also didn't realize Skips is Mark Hamill.
Oh,
that's right. Yeah,
I don't think I did either.
Yeah,
I had no idea until I saw like a Christmas episode where they gave credits to everybody.
There's a movie, right? A movie of the regular shows. Has he seen that?
One or two of them.
Okay, I want to check those out. I really like regular show a lot. It's very good.
The other game that I've been checking out on the GBA, I think I was also upset that there were only 6 titles originally for launch. This is a weird 6. Well, actually, there's just one that's really weird. Here is the Kurin.
But it's awesome.
Irritating stick. It's absolutely amazing.
It's really good.
I don't remember how I got through this game as a child versus now, where I'm just getting more and more frustrated. But man, I had a blast playing that. The thing though that I'll say is that maybe it's just my muscle memory kicking in or whatever, but I don't like the form factor of the Switch to play GBA games. I kind of want a screen that's like slightly smaller.
Fair.
Or I don't know, maybe like the button placement, maybe something without analog sticks.
Okay, so when it comes to controls, you know, there's not much you can do there, but they do have that like smaller screen option that I think makes it pixel perfect for the Game Boy Advance. So maybe try that, see if that works a little bit better for you.
This is my segue into asking you, Jeff Grubb, what device should I pick up to play GBA games the best? Because I can wait for Nintendo, but then, you know, I need the juice. Yeah,
I'm looking around to see if I have it right here. It's the Anbernic. You can get any of the recent Anbernic ones. If you go for the one that's like in the $80 to $100 range, that's going to be like a 3-inch screen. I think it's like a 3-inch screen. And that is probably the right form factor, the right size. It's really small and light and it feels really good and it's really well made. And you can get it either as, you get one that's vertical with a 4x3 screen, but for Game Boy Advance, you probably want to get the one with the 16:9 screen, and it's horizontal. It's a horizontal candy bar build. You probably want to do that because it's just like that the screen will fit a little bit better. The GBA wasn't 16:9, but it's closer to that than 4x3. So it's an Anbernic, and there's I think it's like the RG351 or something like that. And yeah, it has worked very well for me for Game Boy Advance. There's other options, Retroid Pocket, but those are like closer to a Switch Lite anyhow these days. So I would just go with the Anbernic still. They're really well done.
My dumb butt typed Amber Egg into Google. It's not going to continue to play my GBA games, but maybe I'll just buy this Amber Egg as well.
Yeah, go for it. Get it all.
Gentlemen, any wishes for the GB or the GBA Nintendo Switch Online stuff. I know it's a huge library for both, especially if you include the Game Boy Color into this.
Yeah, I mean, Warlocked is one on. I think it's Warlocked. Yeah, on for Game Boy Color, it is an early. I think Nintendo published real-time strategy game for the Game Boy Color that is trying to just be Warcraft, and it's actually surprisingly good. It's really well done. So yeah, that's I think Astro Boy.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
I think it's a Treasure game. Treasure makes great shooters.
So good.
The animation, everything they did with Astro Boy on Game Boy Advance is so good. There's a lot of cool. One or two of the Tony Hawk's Pro Skater games. I think it's probably not going to happen, but I would love to have one of those isometric Tony Hawk's Pro Skater games on there. That would be fantastic.
Oh man. Backlar, anything?
Was there? What was like? I feel like all the Metroids on there were just like remakes,
Bangers.
Right? Metroid Fusion is coming. That's not the remake. Metroid Zero Mission hasn't been announced. But that remake is awesome. Yeah. And a great way to play that game.
Yeah.
Oh, man. The thing that I also hated seeing all this stuff is not only my desire to play more GBA games, but also me thinking it'd be incredibly difficult for them to figure out how to port and do this for the Nintendo DS still on the Switch, right? Like, how... Yeah. Because so many of those games rely on like the second screen, and like you could do this thing where it's like in the corner, but then some of it's like touch sensitive. I need it.
Yeah, they'd have to really think about it, and like the solutions would probably be different depending on what kind of game it is. And a lot of games just straight up wouldn't work. Like there's a puzzle in one of the games. So maybe it's Hotel Dusk. I can't remember what it is, but you're supposed to like stamp something in the game, so you close the lid and that stamped it on. Well, that you can't close the Switch, so you'd have to either create a button that faked that or just not include that game. And I think there's enough exceptions that they just would really struggle to figure it out. Like I was playing Tingle's Balloon Trip of Love, a game that never came out here.
As you always do.
We're gonna play that for Valentine's Day today, as I always do for Valentine's Day, but we went with Lover Watch instead. And I was playing on an emulator just so I could like easily capture it. And It was like, yeah, if I have it just as two screens on top of one another, that's fine. But after a certain point of the game, that top screen is basically just nothing for a really long period of time. So I just moved over to the side, and it's like, yeah, you could do that with on the Switch, but eventually, sometimes games are gonna like do two images on top of one another that are connected, and they're one big tall image. And that's like, well, do you move it back, or do you just have them broken up and the top screen is small and off to the side? There's no real easy way to do it.
I can't believe you just mentioned Hotel Dusk so casually.
Yeah, I do a Jeopardy game for my Game Mess Patreon, and one of the final Jeopardy questions was, it was a double Jeopardy to get me tied with Imran Khan right before we were going into a final Jeopardy, and the answer was, the clue was Hotel Dusk, and everyone was like blown away. I'm like, guys, I think about that game every day. I think about Hotel Dusk all the time.
That's wild.
I can't. I think I was in high school when the DS came out, and y'all, at the time I had an iPod to play my music, but there was something so cool. If you had the plug to get you the good juice for your Nintendo DS to get you to open up and really juice that thing. I wound up using that thing as like an MP3 player. I watched the shittiest episodes of Heroes on that thing.
Really?
Yeah, dude. The bitrate, terrible. If I were to think of like the resolution it was probably formatted at, I'm like, how did I manage to squeeze 3 episodes of Heroes onto here?
Yeah,
and
it was incredible like to see that like the presets for that in Handbrake after a while and be like, what pervert is doing this? And I found the pervert.
It was me and my boys. It was just so cool just watching or like going onto the bus and then skipping to the next song with my DS closed with one of the shoulder buttons. Wow. And then it's like, oh no, I skipped the other song. Let's with the other
guy
one.
coming through. Watch out.
That's right. That's me on the bus. I got to make sure I get off at this stop so I can transfer to the next one. Wild times, just like Jeff Grubb has been having with Wild Hearts.
I want to first point out this is definitely a Jason game. Shout outs to him. When I saw this, I'm like, man, I wish I could talk to him about this. It is incredible. incredible. I can't believe I like it.
Whoa.
I've never been into a Monster Hunter, but really before.
I was going to ask, did you get into Monster Hunter World at all? Because World was like a lot of people's like entryway.
Yeah, I played like 15 hours of it, and I was definitely like feeling it, but it always felt like, oh man, there's like such a big hump that I'm not getting over yet. And like, oh, I got the momentum. I got the momentum. And then, you know, one thing happens, distracts me, and I didn't get over that hump. And so it's like, it was really hard to go back to. I considered going to Monster Hunter Rise on the Switch several times. I just never pulled the trigger, even though I tried the demo, and it was just, I don't know. It feels like I'm going to do the same thing here. With Wild Hearts, it is one of those games. It's a hunting game. It is basically, you look at it, it's Monster Hunter. They just throw out, it feels like, to me, at least as far as I can tell, someone who's not an expert on Monster Hunter, like they are throwing out a lot of the stuff that might feel like it creates that hill you need to get over. I'm just hunting giant monsters, and I'm doing cool stuff. And one of the key ways that they make this game feel different, and then they make it feel very exciting, is they give you these things called, and now I'm not going to remember what they're called in the game, but basically it's your magic, where you can build like Fortnite. And what you could do is you could build a little tower of things that can help you. It helps you navigate the world, sure, but you can use it in combat. So yeah, you do your regular attacks on a big monster, like the big rat thing you fight at first.
Sure.
And it's you're seeing the numbers fly off the big rat monster. And yeah, we're making progress here. But if you want to get a little bit more spicy, and you have enough of your magic to put down 3 just cubes, one on top of another, or yeah, it could be 2, but 3 is pretty good. Then you run up the cubes, and if you time the jump button, you'll jump up way high in the air, and if you hit the attack button while you're in the air, you'll basically do this really well animated, really cool looking giant swing down of your sword that does a ton of extra damage. And so, okay, now we need to build that into our our combo repertoire, and we just got to make sure that when we're putting it on the ground, we're putting it in a place that it's not going to get knocked down, or if it does get knocked down, we can do this safely before that does happen, so we can sort of time things as the enemy's coming towards me. I can jump up in the air, and if he destroys it, then well, that's not ideal because I don't get to use it again, but at least I'll get this big attack off, and maybe that's enough to put him down. And works really well. And then you learn later, well, if I put 2-3 block towers next to each other, right next to each other, this will create an actual wall, like a big magic wall that is much bigger than just those 6 cubes. And that wall is much stronger. So this giant pig boar enemy that looks incredible, and as he gets angrier and angrier, his big like tusks, he's called like a wild tusk. His big tusks like glow red, and they're like made of lava. He looks awesome. It's a cool looking game. But he'll charge, and if you get him to charge into that wall, he'll just fly up in the air like a giant cartoon character and just slam on the ground. And he's like this big honking piece of ham that you could just chop away at and do a ton of damage. And it's so much fun. I'm having a really good time. I'm just like, yeah, I totally get it now. And I don't feel like there's like this giant pile of stuff that I don't understand and I'm not taking advantage of. Mm-hmm. That stuff might be there, but I'm getting the sense that mostly they've stripped a lot of that stuff away so that you could just do the core hunting stuff. And I'm really into it. I'm about 2 hours in, I played 2 hours this morning, and I'm ready to just kind of keep going and try to play with other people. I'm talking about just partying up and going out there and hunting. And it sounds like a lot of people are having a good time with it. Now, the big issue with it is performance. I'm playing on a PC with a 3080 Ti and a 12900K CPU and like 64 gigabytes of RAM. I'm decked out. I'm playing at 1080p because if I don't, my frame rate's going to be in the trash. Yeah, so I'm getting about 60 at 1080p. I had a friend who's playing on a 3060 at 1080, and he's struggling to get 45 frames per second. It's very, very not optimized, especially for PC, but it seems like people are also having issues on Xbox Series S, and even X and PlayStation 5 are not great. But they do seem more optimized than the PC at the very least. So
that's still unfortunate.
People might want to wait. I'm having a good time. It's not affecting me, so I'm having a good time. What can I say?
Grub, I gotta ask you, does it have like the systems like Monster Hunter does that kind of like stall your time hunting? Like, does it have a sharpening mechanic at all? How often is the monster? No, okay. How often is like the monster fleeing from zone to zone?
Yes, about as often as they do in Monster Hunter, as far as I can remember when I played Monster Hunter World. But chasing them down doesn't take too long, and they do give you a handful of tools to make this easier. I know there was like some cool like web slinging stuff in Rise that people really liked.
Yeah.
What you have here is, at least so far, one of the first things you get is this giant turret you can place anywhere, just like you're placing one of your blocks. And you place this turret down, and you can see another part of the map, and you aim across the map. And what you fire is basically a little rope, and you can ride that rope down, but you can also ride it up. So if you see the person up there on the ledge, you can run around the whole side of the map and get up there, or you can just shoot this wire up there and just chase them immediately, get up right behind them. And sometimes you can even like shoot the wire over them, and then like you're about to you're gonna go get in combat with them, so you just ride it down, get right over them, jump off, and surprise attack them. So they give you some cool ways to get around, at least right out the gate. There might be other things later on, but that was a pretty cool thing to get right away.
Oh, this sounds really cool.
I'm having fun with it. It's also cross-play, so wherever you end up playing it will be good to go.
I'm curious how the multiplayer is handled, because hearing his crossplay is really neat. But then one of my biggest complaints about the Monster Hunter series in general for multiplayer is just how cumbersome it was to even get online.
I don't know how it works here. I do know you're supposed to go to your campfire, and I think you can bring in your boys that way. But there's also like hunter portals, they're called, and I think that enables you
right?
Yeah, portals. I think that enables you to get a match made with other people doing similar or the exact same quest that you're on, so you could all just work together. And I think that's random matchmaking. But there is a way to like actually get in there, play with other people. I mean, I've seen people play that way, and I've seen people play that way pretty much right out the gate. So I don't think there's much you need to do to be like, oh, are we okay? I think they've streamlined it.
Oh my God, yeah.
They are working with EA on this. This is Koei Tecmo. This is a Megaforce, I think is the name of the developer. They've done these Hunter games before. They are working with EA, and I would assume part of that is like, let's make sure this game is palatable to a global multiplayer game playing audience. And I hope that they really smooth that stuff out. I just don't know, because I haven't played with it myself yet.
Okay. Yeah. I wasn't thrilled about this at all. I think we talked about it last week. It's like, don't care. Hearing you.
I'm surprised. It's really fun. It's like surprisingly fun.
All right.
I'm just using the main sword right away. They give you a katana. I have a blacksmith that is hanging out in my town, and she will make whatever I want right now. It seemed like, a bow and arrow, a bigger sword. There's a hammer. Some other weird weapon.
Say less. I heard hammer. I'm in. I'm in.
It all looks really fun.
You could have just said ham, and then I would have been there already.
Yes, they got them hams for you. So I think it's at least worth a shot. It's worth a try. I'm having a good time with it. The code I did get was for EA Play though, or EA EA
I'm
app.
Sorry.
Yeah, so I'm like, can I play this on my Steam Deck? I think it would be pretty rough on the Steam Deck, so whatever. I'll just play on the PC. We're good to go.
Okay. I got to dust off the PS5. Maybe I'll try and cache that code. Grub, another game that I've heard you wax poetically about for a very long time now, coincidentally, is our Game of the Week. And that game is Metroid Prime Remastered, baby.
Yeah.
Grub, for as long as I've worked with you and known you on the internet, this is a game that I've heard you talk about very highly.
Yeah,
highly.
It's like his... It's just, there's something about it. It's like your, I don't know, it's like your beacon. It's like your
yeah. It's because like you're alone in space, you're marooned, and that's a thing that you love. I guess you love scanning things too.
I do. I really do. I was playing Wild Hearts. I'm like, man, I wish I could scan these freaks, these animals out here. Let me scan these guys, and they won't let me scan them. So I'm like, man, they're missing out. Yeah, Metroid Prime is still incredible. I think one of the things I was wondering is, I know it's going to hold up for me, but new people coming in, are they going to find much here? And it sounds like so far everyone gets it. It really is that good of a game. It's always been sort of timeless because it's just a really well made first person adventure Metroidvania, and then the art was the top of its class at the time, and now they've upgraded that to look better than ever, and it just looks so good, and that makes it even more fun to explore. The updated controls with the dual stick analog, that is also incredible because what they did is they didn't just now you can look around with the right stick. They moved some of the controls up to the shoulder buttons, so you could do like bumper jumper and look around and jump. And so I'm just like flying through these areas. It's really, really well done. I'm I'm impressed, and it's the best part is hearing other people come to it and fall in love with it too, because it's one of those games that it is my beacon. I am always sort of looking like when am I going to get another game that's going to do for me what Metroid Prime did for me back then, and that's happened here and there. But I'm like, hey, more developers should be looking to that, and that feels like another chance to reignite that fire. So I'm very happy.
This is my first foray into it, and my actual first dip into the Metroid Prime series was Metroid Prime Hunters for the DS.
Okay.
Very different game than this.
Mine was pinball, so go figure.
Yeah. Those are both pretty good games. Pinball's the best of those two. Yes.
Pinball is that pinball is real
pinball
good.
Rules.
Yeah,
yes,
that's real good.
And I didn't have a GameCube growing up. And
you were 2.
I was 2, and then like people are talking about fax machines, and I'm like, goo goo gaga, I need hours on the internet. This is great. Why playing this game? It's like catching up on a movie that other movies have been referencing for years.
Yeah,
or it's like one of those things of like, oh, this is why No Man's Sky is like this, huh? This is why Doomy Turtle is like this occasionally. And Grub, you described it as like a first-person Zelda at times, and I couldn't wrap I couldn't wrap my mind around it. But then I was thinking, like, why don't all first-person games have a lock on? Because this is amazing.
A lot more of them really should, because it lets you know what the game's really about. It's about looking for opportunities instead of looking for execution.
Sure.
And that's a pretty cool idea, because it opens it up to more people. It makes you feel like a badass. You're supposed to be a badass. It makes you're never going to fail at feeling like a badass if you're using the lock on properly. So and that like side jump when you are locked on, and you keep everything's perfectly still in the center of the screen, but you do that sidestep jump, and you can feel the animation that isn't actually happening of Samus just doing a cool little jut to the side, and I'm like, I bet she looks so badass. I feel so badass. It's again just an incredibly well thought out game that is even more well thought out now that they've remastered it.
Yeah, it feels like a crime that Nintendo can get away making games look really nice on the Switch, while others have a lot of difficulty doing so.
Yeah.
Because like this game's like, I was looking at it, and I don't have an OLED. I'm just playing on a regular Switch. And I'm like, why does this look good? Like, how?
I think it's the best looking game on the Switch. It's crazy.
It might be, yeah. Like, we were talking about Fire Emblem Engage looking really nice, but like this, like, holy smokes, like y'all know how to use the tools here, huh?
Yeah, it's funny how they have like the special sauce, right? Like they just have like the right tools that are proprietary that somehow magically unlock all that stuff. But going back to the game, I feel like I haven't played it since it came out. I did finish it, but the thing I remember about the game was like getting stuck a lot. That's what I remember the most about the first Metroid Prime. So I'm curious to go back to it, having 20 years or so of playing games.
I think that experience will really help, because what I think they definitely were pioneers in signposting that was subtle, and I think we show one of the moments in the quick look, and it's one of the reasons I wanted to show it. You are coming back out of Phendrana Drifts, and you're looking around, and you don't necessarily know where to go next, but you did just get the boost ball ability. And I'm like, well, I do know there's a half pipe that I can use the boost ball ability back at the beginning of the world, but they don't want me to go back there right now, do they? Well, you step out in Phendrana Drifts, and right then Meta Ridley flies over, and she goes, I think it's Ridley a she, Ridley flies over and goes in a direction that you came from, and then once you look around, you see, well, there's nowhere else for me to go. I guess maybe I should be tracking down Ridley, and you start going in that direction. As long as you keep going in that direction, the only way you can go leads you right back to that beginning part, right back to where you need to go, to then use the boost ball ability and get the double jump. And that's subtle signposting, but when you really think about it, like, of course I should be following the big thing, and now these days, like, to me, it occurred to me right away, like, this is what I should be doing.
Yeah,
I think at the time, it was I hadn't had that language instilled in me in such a fundamental way that I think I definitely got lost more. Of course, I played the game before, but I might have a terrible memory. So this time when I'm getting lost, it is for a quarter of the time. It's not for very long. I know, just keep poking and prodding. Think about what the world's trying to tell you and just keep going.
That's exciting. Yeah, I'm going to jump back.
Yeah, for folks that never checked it out, I mean, I can't say that it holds up. I can just say that it is great out the gate. It holds, yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't have too much of a reverence for like Metroid. I mean, I really like Dread. I like Zero Mission on the Fusion. Fusion I really liked.
Yeah.
And this is great. I kind of hope that this blows up, and now I understand the hype / hesitation for what would and could be a Metroid Prime 4. And it's like, yo, I just need another studio to steal everything about this game and just make it everywhere else. Please. I
mean, it's one of the reasons I do like Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order so much. It is a Metroidvania. They even have that 3D map. So when people talked about the backtracking, I'm like, no, this is good. It's cool to unlock doors and have new shortcuts and things like that. It's still better. It was better in Metroid Prime than it was in Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. But whenever I see little hints of that, I'm just like, yeah, gimme. We don't get enough of those. So yeah, Arkham Asylum is another one. Arkham Asylum,
sure.
That's my favorite of the Batman games because it's a Metroidvania and it rules.
Agreed. The thing is with this though that I've noticed and that I wasn't expecting is that it just moves at such a speed that like it's
the
just
pace of a Metroidvania. That's what makes Metroidvanias so good.
Right.
A good Metroidvania, you get something cool. You spend 10, 15 minutes experimenting with it, and then it's not going to be much longer than 10 minutes later. You're going to get something else new. So it's like every 20 to 30 minutes, you're getting another cool toy to play with, and that makes you more powerful. And then that opens up your brain. Like the last time I got something cool, I was able to go do that thing before that I saw and I couldn't get to. And now you're thinking in that mindset. You're like, okay, this just opens up more possibilities in the world. And if you want to take a little interlude, which is something I did when I did get lost, Bacalar, when I did get lost last night, I was like, you know what? Let me just look around real quick and see if I could do anything new. And then I was finding missile packs and energy cells. So I had more, my character's better off. And then by the time I was doing that, I cleared out this area for now. I know where I need to go next is not here. So I'm gonna go back this other way. And then I immediately found my way again. It's like, okay, as long as you're bouncing back between those two modes of play, it's perfect. It's so well done.
I want this. Yeah. And I think I understand it now.
It's
I fully
awesome.
understand it. It's great. It's
absolutely
I'm
excited because, like I said, I have not seen it since 2002. Like, I haven't seen it since then.
I mean, I think it's going to, visually, it should blow you away.
Honestly, if they didn't have the remastered tagged onto the title and you just put Metroid Prime and like new people that missed it or people that's completely new to, because the original game came out what? 20 or 2002?
Yep, 21 years ago. Yep,
21 years ago. So there's full-on adults that have never played this game. And I'm excited for Metroid.
The GameCube sold like 25 million units. Now there was the Metroid Prime trilogy on the Wii, so it had another chance. But even still, I think most people have not played this before.
Yeah, I missed it both times then. So I'm glad that this is out. And I hope that Metroid Prime 4 or 2 and 3 come along, and I'm gonna join.
Thank you, Tommy Tallarico, for your hard work. Thank you so much.
What can't that guy do? Everything. Literally everything. It's funny because like my memory of this game is 16:9. Like I don't know why that is.
Because the Wii version. No, I think the GameCube version could do widescreen. I think you could do a widescreen with the GameCube version.
Because we found out Eternal Darkness did have that.
Yeah, I think this did too. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Okay. I got to ask the GameCube boys here because I feel like you two may be experts here. Any other?
That was our old podcast. Yeah.
Any other gems from the GameCube?
Ooh,
I mean, like Eternal Darkness.
Beautiful Joe. Both Beautiful Joe games are like, in my opinion, Scout gets it, like stunning. Mm-hmm. I think those two are really good. I really liked. I know it's like it has people on the fence, but I thought Killer 7 was really cool.
Oh, okay, yeah.
The Wii version had widescreen, not GameCube. Right? Okay, that sounds right.
Oh, okay. All right, well, that'll be fun to see it in widescreen. I'm trying to think of what else.
Paper Mario: The Thousand-Year Door.
Sure,
yes.
Okay. Well, Star Wars Rogue Squadron 2 Rogue Leader. Have you seen Rogue Leader before, Jian? That's one that has in the same way that Metroid Prime's still like visually stunning. Yes, Rogue Squadron is still really, really good looking.
Was that a launch game or like close to launch?
It was a launch game. It was like right there, that launch window. Yeah, absolutely.
That game ruled.
Oh, there's a bunch of cool stuff. Get Donkey Kong Jungle Beat and a bunch of bongos, and then Prince of Persia's Sands of Time. If you've never played Sands of Time,
which was also multi-platform though, but
it was on a bunch of other different stuff.
Yeah.
Yes, it looked really good on the GameCube.
Sands of Time is so like I went back recently and played a little bit. I think I have like a PC remaster of it or something. Like I think there's like a bit of like a fondness for that game that's weighted in nostalgia because you could do these like amazing
I'm trying
combos
to
and then like suck the sand out of somebody at the same time.
Yeah. The wall running, like any game that has wall running, is going to get me. And that was a game that really nailed that stuff. I don't know if I have no idea if it holds up. I don't know. But you show me a more satisfying palm against the wall slap sound. I dare you.
Well, let me tell you, the Prince of Persia 2 Warrior Within, because then you get the added bonus of Godsmack.
Godsmack, yeah.
Okay.
Stand alone inside. Okay, yeah, that's it.
Dude, he's all like on a throne, right? Like I remember all the visual accompaniment for that game. It was like, man. It was lame.
And then Dr. Randall puts out Ultimate Muscle Game for the GameCube, which I have played on this website before. So, yes, that's a good one too.
Jan, I don't mean like gods. I just mean like I remember being let down by Warrior Within. I remember being like, this is not the Sands of Time
that were pretty. Like some people like some of the other ones. There was I think the one that was just Prince of Persia again.
You like the watercolor one?
Yeah,
I like that one.
I think people like that one.
Yeah,
I never played it. I should go back and play all the rest of them.
What was the third one in that trilogy called?
The Twin Towers.
That's right. Never forget. I forgot. Sorry.
Yeah.
Two Thrones. That's what it was. Okay. All right. Dang.
The first Luigi's Mansion is all right.
Yep. Definitely.
Ooh, I bet you on an aquarium it looks really good now.
Yeah.
There's a Shrek wrestling game, I think, that Mike Minotti really likes for
Say
GameCube.
less.
I think maybe we should play some of that. Is it the Shrek wrestling game or is it a Shrek party game? I can't remember.
I don't remember, but Jan, like every time I bring up Beautiful Joe, I feel like it goes in one ear and out the other.
No, because I've played Beautiful Joe.
You played it? Okay.
Yeah. But also I'm traumatized because I played a demo disc that had Beautiful Joe in it that borked my memory card. And then
okay.
So, yeah, exactly. Mildly tense memories with Beautiful Joe. Not as beautiful.
Man, I just
Hentai
love that
Go-Go.
console.
That's right, Luther Jennings. Hentai Go-Go.
Yeah, GameCube was. It's the
so
first
sick.
timeless 3D console. I know PS2 and Xbox were happening at the same time, but they don't like. The thing with Nintendo, and we see this on the Switch when we were just talking about this. Oh, they have the special proprietary sauce. It's their art, right? They just know how their artwork is more timeless. And there's a lot of those games. Wind Waker is and even Sunshine, Super Mario Sunshine still looks great. And that art holds up forever on a console that looked great forever.
Yes. That Wario game on the GameCube, I remember like hanging out.
Wario World.
Wario World. I
Wasn't
hung out
it
at
Incorporated? It was like
No, there's WarioWare Mega Party Games Incorporated or whatever. Yeah. And that's a WarioWare party game, which is also fantastic. But Wario World is a 3D platformer adventure game with Wario by Treasure, who we were just talking about them, like making Star Heroes and all that stuff.
Yeah, I remember hanging out and playing that at a demo kiosk in a Toys R Us for like too long that there was another kid waiting behind me to play the kiosk, and then I just kept going.
The thing about Wario World is if you go back and look at the reviews, and I saw this for Kirby's Canvas Curse recently, I'm like, why are the reviews for this? This is a really good game. And you remember back then, if a game was 2-3 hours long, that was it. You were going to get bad reviews. You were going to get a 70 at best. And so Wario World's a short game, but it's actually a pretty good one. So it's totally worth going back to. We should play some
man, we should.
Hey, we have a GameCube stream, right? Let's do a
UPF that's all just GameCube stuff or whatever. Okay. You know,
I'm so down. Yeah.
Send in your recommendations.
Aquarium, yeah.
Send your recommendations for GameCube games, because that is like the Nintendo 64 and the GameCube are just two systems that I completely missed because I was on like the PlayStation side of things, despite having like Game Boys and stuff. So it's a huge blank spot in my memory.
Shanty boy, I'll play Gladius. Gladius is a gladiator RPG that has the same timing-based combat as like a Mario RPG. So it's surprisingly good.
Yes, we'll get the GameCube expert, Mitch, to
we'll
pop
get the
on as
GameCube
well.
guy.
The GameCube guy.
He didn't know that there was an eject button for the discs on the GameCube tray
in the center of the thing.
His entire life
that.
until and like
Just ripping it off.
Just ripping them out until like a
psycho.
couple months ago. Yeah, just
What a psycho!
Insane.
Oh,
Calls
man.
himself the GameCube guy.
It even sprinted. It said eject on it.
It did, and it's shiny. Like some
And
people
yeah, it
would
was
go to
like
press.
it was like chrome, like color chrome.
Yeah, weird guy.
Do I?
Weird guy.
No, I don't have to go get a GameCube. There's an.
Yeah. Jan.
People keep saying Kirby Air Ride though, and like.
Yeah, Kirby Air Ride. Yeah, there was some of that.
There was a Kirby Air Ride mini game in one of the GBA games that I absolutely adored. So maybe this is up my alley as well.
Curran Squash. What is that?
Oh, also Chibi Robo. I remember
Chibi
watching
Robo,
over a friend's shoulder and thought it was dope as heck.
It's awesome. I also like really got into the Tiger Woods games on GameCube because the shape of that analog stick that housed it.
Mm-hmm.
Like there was something about I don't know if it was like octagonal maybe, but like there was something really satisfying that you could get like a really even.
Can you say that
putt.
again?
Octagonal.
Octagonal.
Is that the right way to say it?
Nah, I mean
octagonal. Octagonal.
Octagonal. Oh, octotagonal.
Octagonal.
Traveler 2? Okay. Anyway,
there's a
yeah,
Kerwin party game for the GameCube, and we're gonna play the balls off of that.
Octagonal.
I'm literally downloading it right now. Come for me, please.
Literally everyone knows what I'm saying, but yeah, like there was Tiger Woods just maybe it was like 03 or 04. It was the one with like all the waggy courses. Like they had courses that that were impossible.
I think that's like a beloved game.
Yeah.
Right? That's a specific one. People love that one. Yeah.
Something about it on GameCube. Like that is even though it was multi-platform, that is like a defining game for that console for me.
I would play some of that too. I would
Oh yeah. Hell yeah.
Now I'm furiously looking up GameCubes at a thrift store website. And
What were they charging for GameCubes?
Okay, well let's check it out real quick. Hold on.
Listen, okay. I'm going to give you permission to purchase a GameCube. I'm not going to give you permission to begin buying games. That is a fool's errand. They are so expensive. So I got a website for you. We'll get a GC loader. We'll be okay,
I sold the Wind Waker, and then what was the combo? It was
the Zelda collectors, like Legendary Collection or something like that.
I think I sold that for like $1.75 or something. Many years ago.
Yeah,
probably worth more now.
Yes, I think it is. Yes, but
they're
worth a lot for.
175, but yes.
Yeah.
Oh, they had 4 controller ports. That's cool. What the heck?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, dude.
The best part is when you had Wavebirds. We're just this is a GameCube podcast now.
Yeah.
We had 4 Wavebirds, and you just put each one next to each other, so it's this like wall of radio receivers. Man, Wavebird rule too.
It was like. It like sipped energy. I bet there's no way that thing took a lot of power.
Yeah,
they really overheat.
Power PC chips. I think
it was
maybe was that IBM Power PC? I think that's what it was. I think no. It was just what's it? AMD.
It's like a little baby. It's just like a little powerful little baby.
Yeah,
man. I felt like a little brokey only having 2 controller ports on a PS2. What is?
Yeah, you gotta get that multi-tap for PS2.
I was living on the wrong side this whole time.
We're at a party. We're playing Smash over here.
Oh man, I realized when I saw that PS2 at that ski house in December, they only had the composite cable around the back, and it reminded me how expensive the component AV breakout was. Do you remember that for PS2? It was like they were charging like $80 or something for it.
Yeah, the I think it's the GameCube. Not component, but one of those cables is pretty expensive for GameCube to this day.
There's almost a weird accessory that they've made like 1,100 of, and that's it. And you're like, oh, cool.
All right. Well, I've downloaded Kuro and Squash now, so that's going to be my night.
That sounds fantastic. I need.
I'm ready to go.
Send me the aquarium posting for that, please.
Yeah, I got a website for you for sure.
All right. Well, I gotta thinking about this GameCube stuff. I gotta go cool off now.
We're all hot and bothered.
We're all hot and bothered.
Take a cold shower.
It's perfect for Valentine's Day. That's right, folks. Go get your Valentine's a spice orange GameCube to spice things up.
Bring a
in the
GameCube
household.
into bed with you tonight. That'll really get her going.
That thing is durable as heck, I've been told. And we got to go take a quick break, and we'll see you right after this with some video game news. When it comes to hiring, you need to trust your gut. But what if you could give your gut some help? When you want to find top talent fast, you need Indeed. Indeed is the hiring platform where you can attract, interview, and hire all in one place. Don't spend hours on multiple job sites looking for candidates with the right skills when you can do it all with Indeed. Find top talent fast with Indeed's suite of powerful hiring tools like Indeed Instant Match, assessments, and virtual interviews. Hey, waiting? Indeed's US data shows over 80% of Indeed employers find quality candidates whose resume on Indeed matches their job description the moment they sponsor a job. Yo, one of the best things about Indeed is that it makes hiring so convenient, all in one place. The moment you sponsor that job, Instant Match shows you candidates whose resume on Indeed already fits your job description immediately after you post. With Instant Match, you can start hiring fast. Join over 3 million businesses worldwide using Indeed to hire great talent fast. Indeed knows when you're growing your own business, you have to make every dollar count. That's why with Indeed, you only pay for quality applications that match your must-have job requirements. Visit Indeed.com/bomb to start hiring now. Just go to Indeed.com/bomb. Indeed.com/bomb. Terms and conditions apply. Cost per application pricing not available for everyone. Need to hire? You need Indeed. I had a dream, yo. There was an all-in-one platform that could help me or you build a business, an audience, or sell stuff online. Thankfully, that is a reality with Squarespace. Squarespace has been an essential tool and an incredibly convenient one to get everything you need to build a great looking website or store. They take all the worry out of the whole process. Yo, if you're a trainer or a salon of any type, you can schedule and start booking people, pets, training pets, grooming pets, and book all those appointments all online. They've got helpful email campaigns to get those people locked in and make sure they check up on the website when you got new stuff popping off. And yo, with Squarespace's analytical tools, they've got all the stuff and the info you need to see where your site is truly popping and help you grow. Check out squarespace.com/bombcast for a free trial. And when you're ready to launch, use offer code BOMBCAST to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. Squarespace. Breaking news, everyone. Jeff Bakalar has exposed the CDR. That's right, folks. If you look closely enough, you can see the thin line where one line of text was burned onto it.
Just remember like that sound, like that
I love
crappy
it.
plastic, like oh, I just got my medical records here. That's all in my hand, where it's safe, where it belongs.
I mean, it looks cool.
I go downstairs because Stacy just got home. She's like, "This was on the stairs. I dropped it." I like
your
literally
medical
lost it already.
records.
I literally lost my medical records already.
Man.
I was just a notepad file that just has a link to a website, and that's it. It's like, actually, we would just put it on there. It's just a link to a website. There's actually nothing on the CD.
All
It
just
is in the
text.
cloud.
The QR code when you pull it up.
Okay, I gotta ask the both of you here. So the Zoomers, the Gen Zers, they love retro tech. You know, they've made Walkmans and cassette tapes skyrocket in price. That when I wanted to buy a bunch of cassette tapes for no good reason, I couldn't because they were stupid expensive. Do you think they're gonna get into CDs?
No. CDs don't have the
Pitch.
like yeah,
What it is?
they're the so the thing that like people are after with a point and shoot is like the sort of like shitty aesthetic that comes with that.
Okay.
Vinyl arguably is better sounding than CD, depending on your amp and your player, right? Like, I don't think there's something special that a CD possesses that is like worth preserving. It's just a file.
Now you say that, And I hear you and I agree with you. However, I did see a TikTok recently where someone was giving a tutorial as to how to burn CDs for when you're going on a road trip and you run out of cell reception, so you can't stream stuff on Spotify. And then they had burned stuff with a FLAC. And then someone was like, whoa, that's so cool. Is this what burning CDs was? Yo, you could put so many songs on one CD. And then my heart hurt.
I mean, I guess
is that going to work? Like, because the CD player in a car probably can't read like obs, vorbis, and FLAC and stuff. It probably needs to be a WAV file. It needs to be burned like an audio CD.
I had a head unit that could read MP3s. So I would burn hundreds and hundreds of songs. Yeah.
Before I had an iPod and before I had any other MP3 player, I had a portable CD player that was an MP3 portable CD player. So it could read MP3s, and so I could put like 700 songs or whatever on a disc.
Right.
And that was cool. But most cars usually don't have that. I don't think.
I don't think they came like stock like that. I don't think they were. I mean, maybe, especially if they sure couldn't
read those files. Okay, that's right. Because a lot of them are just like little computers. That's true. Okay, so they probably can read those files. All right, thank you.
Yeah, and then this person posting the tutorial was like, oh, and you can upload your own custom album art to it as well. You can make your own mixtapes, and it was everything started hurting.
But that's the thing. Like looking at that, right? As a 40-year-old in 2023, being like, yo, that time, like, yeah, there's a fondness for it, but like, compared to today, it was so inconvenient. Like, I have a tough time. Like, I think I understand the vinyl thing because it's a different sort of aesthetic, and like,
sure,
it's kind of like you can have this impact on it, and there's something real. The idea of like, oh, the grooves in the plastic, like that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not drawn to this nostalgia of like, burning a disc. Like if there was failures, also discs like don't last forever. They will not last forever. They will eventually deteriorate and not work. Like,
as we all will.
Speaking about discs falling apart, I remember my godbrother telling me that, oh yeah, Jerome, you can just clean this off just under a sink. And then he proceeded to take his copy of Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 and then run it under a sink with hot water and put soap on it. He got rid of some of the scuffs, sure. But also got rid of a lot of other stuff on the disc.
Yeah, like the data.
And, that was news to my Kuya Jonathan, and that was news to me as well. Just like Jeff Grubb is here to bring the news.
Boom, 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 boom.
These are the news of today. What's up, Grub?
I've got some headlines for you from the past week. We'll hop in here, starting with the January gaming MPD report, which just came out yesterday. Total video game sales dropped 5%. I think we could probably point most of that to a dearth of new Pokemon games. Last January, we got a Pokemon Legends Arceus. Didn't have any such thing this year, so overall sales down a little bit. That's the first year-over-year drop since September. So the industry's been fighting with coming out of the pandemic and either trying to stay flat or dropping a little bit, and we're still in that zone. There's no longer the inexplicable growth period. Now it's like, where are things going to settle? And we're still settling down a little bit. In terms of hardware, PS5 was the top selling in both dollars and units. It is just flying off the shelves because they are finally readily available. The Switch was number 2. Xbox was down year over year. No explanation there about whether that's due to a lack of demand or lack of supply. I still don't ever see them when I go in stores, but I don't know. It seemed like they were easier to get. Likely, though, could be many people just waiting to pick up an Xbox now until there's actually games. I bet that's still part of it. They went so long without having any big games that it's maybe finally catching up to them.
That makes sense.
Yeah, I think that's true.
Yeah, I mean, eventually that's got to just like rub off and cause problems. And I think they might be in that zone right now. And if it took them that long, they're lucky because they are going to start having some games here pretty soon. Software, Call of Duty Modern Warfare is still number 1. It's doing very well, although they are. I did hear that they're still not happy with the performance of Call of Duty.
What?
I heard that today. Isn't that just such black humor? It's just they've done all this work to put all this investment into Call of Duty. It's selling again. Modern Warfare 2, whatever it is a huge success. And they got the multiple battle royales all happening. They got the mobile version. They've just doubled down on Call of Duty so hard, and they still are not happy with it.
What
it brings me great joy. It brings me great joy. They want to hit impossible expectations of growth is what they want to hit. That is the problem. You have impossible metrics to achieve, and one day you can't achieve them because they are impossible.
This is why when the Activision acquisition from Microsoft first popped up, and the story was, Microsoft went to Activision and was asking about it because of all the problems with Bobby Kotick. That definitely happened, but at the same time, Activision was beginning to look around and look for a way out because they knew they were always going to end up here, tapping out the potential of Call of Duty and not having any path forward for their infinite growth. And here we are. Number 2 was Dead Space. That's very good for the launch of Dead Space.
That's really cool.
Yes, really, really cool for a really well-made remake that people seem to just be loving. Almost zero complaints about this game, and it's selling. And it's kind of what you want, right? You want to match up the hype with the quality, and now with the sales. So good job with everyone involved.
Question, real quick.
Yeah, shoot.
I've been playing that. I'm 7 hours into it. I don't remember. I guess I remember spamming that which way do I go button, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that is a little slower than it needs to be?
Well, there's a weightiness to everything in that, though.
To the beacon showing up. I feel like if they shaved off a couple 100 milliseconds off that, I feel like I don't know. Again, I am nitpicking. I am picking nits here.
I don't know because I couldn't play it and I haven't had a chance to go back to it. But remember, my controls weren't working, and just in this moment, I think it's because I have those foot pedals. I have those USB foot pedals attached to my computer, and it reads as a controller. I think I just figured it out, everybody. I need to unplug it and try it again. And
you're welcome.
Dead Space. Thank you so much, Jeff Bakalar. Breaking news.
That was the plan all along. No, but I feel like
my mom's going to yell at me. They always yell at me about my stupid controllers connected to my computer when I complain about them. All right, keep going.
Isn't that? But there's something about it. I feel like that's a game where it's Isaac, you have to get back to the base and launch the code for the engine. And you're all right, I don't know where that is. I'm not about to read all these fucking signs. I don't want to read the signs. So I'm just going to use my little
big guy. I don't have time for sign reading. I'm
just going to be and a little line's going to go on the floor. I don't know. Maybe that stays up for a couple seconds longer too. Again, really, really, really picking nits here.
Now it's going to bother me.
I use the pedals to stomp, and that's a great idea.
That's a great idea.
Stomping pedals is great. Yeah, the stomps are great. Everything's great. Running around's great. Love it.
That's one of 5 EA games on this list for the month, which is pretty good for any publisher.
There's one EA game that I am flabbergasted about.
Yes, so Dead Space is number 2, Madden NFL 23 number 3, FIFA number 4. I think Need for Speed Unbound is 16, and then number 20, NHL 23.
Hey,
into the top 20.
Congrats!
What's this mean?
Yay. What does it mean? January too. This is not when the game first launched. This is pretty good.
But what does it mean though?
I think what it means is that January was a down month. I think it was a pretty weak month overall.
We'll take it.
Yes, we will take it, absolutely. Speaking of that, Fire Emblem Engage did pretty well. This is physical only for Fire Emblem Engage. It's number 5 on the list, behind FIFA and Madden. But again, that's only its physical sales. Usually with Nintendo, the split is 50-50. Sometimes it's a little bit more on the physical than a lot of other things. A lot of other companies will be 70-30, with 70 being digital and 30 being physical. Nintendo, it's usually 50-50. Then you have Elden Ring at number 6. Then Forspoken, this does include its digital and its Steam numbers. At number 7, that seems a little bit weak for that game, especially when you compare it to Fire Emblem Engage, which did have a few more days on the market. But still, I think Forspoken had 5 full days of sales or 4.5 days of sales. That's not great for Forspoken, I don't think.
I was going to say it charted, so that's cool.
It did chart. Yes, exactly. Yes, it did chart. Yeah.
I was chatting with an old CNET friend the other day, and he was he goes, "Oh, dude, did you play Forspoken?" I said, "Yeah, I didn't really like it." He goes, "It is absolute trash. It deserves a 0. I cannot believe playing this game feels like eating dirt.
Is your friend Mitch Hedberg? This rules.
And I just kept being like, "Oh, yeah, okay. You're just being fair. Like you're just not being unreasonable." Anyway, sorry.
No, it's okay. Yeah,
That deserves a 0.
That's real good stuff. Forspoken, we kind of won't know until its second month of sales. If it stays in the top 10 or even in the top 15 for its second month, that'll be pretty good. If it has a precipitous drop off, then we'll see. God of War Ragnarok is number 8, and then One Piece Odyssey, one of the other new games, was number 9. That's pretty good for an anime game, I think, right, Jan?
Oh, yeah, for One Piece. That's surprising. Cool.
Yeah, I thought so.
Rachel, yesterday on Game S Mornings, brought up an interesting thing. I saw 0 things about this game coming out, like no marketing at all. So for it to even get into the top 10, I think that just speaks to the power of anime. Shouts out to the One Piece freaks out there.
Yep, got an anime is on One Piece's side, and that's pushing it to number 9. The rest of the chart is mostly familiar faces: Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, Last of Us Part 1. Last of Us Part 1 did jump, of course, because of the show. Yeah. I think it was like it was in the 30s or the 40s before. It jumped up to 11, so that's pretty good for that game, and pretty good because of the show.
I did start playing Last of Us Part 2 again, and then I was just like, oh, I just feel sad all over again. Why am I doing this to myself?
I'm like, I've never really played those games, and I'm like, maybe I should just watch the show instead. That seems like a better way of doing it. All right. That does it for the NPD results, but we do have some news out of Europe with their similar report. PS5 availability leads to a surge in sales across Europe, but let's start here with the games. Game sales were down a significant 19.1% in January in Europe. Again, that's likely due to the lack of an Arceus-like game. Perennial favorites like FIFA, GTA 5, Red Dead Redemption 2, and Call of Duty all grew year over year in January, and they were like at the top of the charts. New games, though, couldn't offset what we lost from Arceus. There was Dead Space at number 6, Forspoken at number 11, and then the physical only of Fire Emblem Engage at number 12. So again, that's like right there. They're probably like Forspoken in total is probably doing just the physical numbers of a Fire Emblem Engage. And so like if you track that worldwide, Fire Emblem Three Houses did like 3 million in its first year. Oh, so it's like is Forspoken on track to do like 1.5 million? Is that enough? I don't know. It seemed like a big budget game just based on it getting multiple massive delays. You think like they're putting all that extra money in it, they expect it to do pretty well. But when it comes to the PS5, it's definitely obviously hitting its stride. And you can tell because its sales tripled year over year in January. Yes, it was up 202% across all of Europe. That's just massive. And it was the number 1 best-selling console. The Switch was right behind it. It dropped 11%. Xbox Series X and S down 32%. So again, is that demand or is that supply? It's hard to say. But right now it is now that PlayStation 5 is just like surging in availability. Sales are surging right alongside it.
I mean, they also, like Last of Us is I mean, maybe this doesn't account for like the console selling impact of the TV show, right?
It would a little bit. You talk about The Last of Us on HBO?
Yeah,
it should a little bit. The show started in January, so this would be some of that.
Yeah, I know 2 people who have bought PS5s because of that show.
On top of that, I think it's also Hogwarts Legacy is pushing a bunch of systems because I have acquaintances that are kind of unplugged to the greater video game world and only really like Harry Potter. And they were like, I'm just going to get a PS5 just to play this one game. So the power of the PS5, I guess.
Yep. Again, it's crushing right now. And if Xbox was going to get any of that momentum, it needed some games, some big exclusives, and it just hasn't had that in more than a year. All right. Speaking of Microsoft, they confirmed basically what we already knew. Fewer people buy a game if it's available in Game Pass. It seems pretty obvious, but people are making a pretty big deal out of this because the CMA shared a note from Microsoft's documents as part of its potential acquisition of Activision. The note basically says Microsoft also submitted that its internal analysis shows a redacted percent, so some number percent decline in base game sales 12 months following their addition on Game Pass. Now, people are reading this as new information because in 2018, about a month after the release of Forza Horizon 4, Phil Spencer said, and this is in 2018, that when we put a game like Forza Horizon 4 in there, it sells more because people see a bunch of people playing it and they go out and buy it because they're not in Game Pass. Now, this is in 2018 when maybe there were fewer than 10 million people with Game Pass. And on top of that, it was, there's Forza Horizon 4 is the one game or the one game series that does seem to sell a ton. And it was a month later. So they didn't have 12 months of data. They're saying 12 months later, a redacted percent goes down. So I don't think he ever really said every game goes up in sales when we put it in Game Pass. And why would he? Because we all just know that's not true, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when he says that, say, yeah, of course. But they've confirmed it. It makes a lot of sense. Now, they have repeatedly said that people in Game Pass, when they get other games, they do tend to spend more money elsewhere. But that's on like microtransactions and on games. Like, it's the network effect. You're in Game Pass, you're playing with your friends, you're talking about games that are in Game Pass. And then when one friend that you play every night with, who you guys always play a Game Pass game together, when they say, well, there's a new game out that I really want to play, and I would like to keep playing with you, but we all have to spend $60 on it. Are you down? Well, you probably are, because you always are playing games with them every single night. That network effect does tend to get you to spend more. So I still think that's probably the case. But no way does every game that is in Game Pass sell more. Of course it doesn't.
Right. Hope they didn't spend that much time figuring this out.
Yeah, right. That would not. Right. That's not a surprise.
Okay.
Dead Island 2 is actually getting printed to discs right now, and they're going to release it a week early on April 21st. Dead Island 2, I think, was originally supposed to come out in 2015.
I was just gonna say, like, that game has felt like it's been out 11 times already.
Right. I think the original sort of time frame was 2015. I think. This is messed up. I can't believe it's actually real. Do you guys have any hopes for this game?
I mean, I thought the trailer for that first one was interesting.
Yeah, sure. That's what I remember too.
I remember it back then too. And
that's all I can think of. Dead Island 2.
Yeah, it's Dead Island 2 has been made by the Homeland, the Homeland 2. Techland. Techland made the first game.
Is making Dead Island 2.
This one's made by the team that made Homeland 2, and I can't remember the subtitle for that was.
Oh, Christ.
Yeah.
It was just called Oh, Christ.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Oh,
so I'm like, I kind of need to see this. They've been making it for so long. You get like, are you going to get it and be like, oh man, part of this game feels super old, sort of like that Duke Nukem of Forever effect.
Right. There's morbid curiosity flowing through my veins a little bit where you're just like, oh, let's just fire
Homefront
up
2. Thank you, chat. Homefront 2 is what I'm thinking. I'm not Homeland. Homefront, The Revolution. Yes, there we go.
I can't wait to hear the jokes.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's going to be, it's going to either be a mess or maybe it'll surprise us. We have no idea.
We need this. We need it to happen.
Yeah, we need our nation needs to get past this so we can move on. I don't know. Maybe we don't.
It's closure. That's what it is, folks. It's closure.
Yes.
Okay. Sure. Close the loop.
AEW Fight Forever has an ESRB rating now. This is significant because one of the stories coming out of the last year was one of the reasons we haven't heard about AEW Fight Forever's release date, even though they said they would release it by the end of 2022, is they are having issues getting a T for teen rating. The ESRB keeps coming back to them with an M rating, and they don't want that. So they do have a T for T rating now, and that means hopefully they can actually start the process of releasing this game once and for all. Although that always seemed like a weird reason not to release the game. At a certain point, if you're an M-rated wrestling game, I think you're still going to sell to the audience you're going to sell to. But I suppose kids are an important like customer for a wrestling video game. Like, as soon as I start thinking out loud, I don't know. But you guys, are you hopeful that we get this game soon?
Yeah, I'm hopeful. I feel like AEW's kind of lost some steam after, CM Punk dipping and everything, that releasing this in 2022 would have been hotter for the game and would have helped with sales. Now I feel like AEW, unfortunately, is in a little bit of limbo, especially with WWE picking up a lot of momentum. So I don't know. It's a little bit difficult. Also, like, is WWE, is their game coming out soon?
Yes, it's coming out now. Yes, now if AEW Fight Forever comes out soon, it's going to be contending with WWE 2K23 or 24, whatever it is. Yes.
Oh, I don't know. That's kind of that might be a bummer. And
it's going to take a lot of oxygen out of the room, I think, for Fight Forever.
Yeah, especially if Fight Forever is still trying to go for a more arcadey feel versus whatever WWE is going to bring to the table this year. I'm still excited. I'm still curious. That being said,
yeah, I'm hopeful that it comes out and it's surprisingly good, even if it's just going for that old N64 flavor. I think that could really stand out from what the WWE game is each year, which tries to be kind of like a sim. All right, Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. This is like a little Nintendo Direct portion of the show. Zelda Tears of the Kingdom is going to be $70. In fact, it is $70 if you want to pre-order it right now. How do you guys feel about that? I'm at a point where, okay, whatever, I'll pay it. I know they can charge me that because they know I'll pay it. But how do you guys feel?
It's just not surprising. Like, I'm not saying it's okay. It's just
none of this is okay.
No,
it's never been okay.
It's not an endorsement. It's just like, okay, yeah, oh yeah, that's how it's gonna work. Like, of course,
I guess maybe my ability to get enraged by these things has tapered off over time, especially when I'm like, there's a giant chemical spill blowing right towards me, because when they did that chemical burn off 100 miles away, of course, that was the one day wind was blowing right in my face. So it's like, oh, cool. Now, all that stuff's in Lake Erie now. I get to drink that. That's the stuff I'm thinking about. Whatever. I'll pay 10 extra bucks to play Zelda. That you're right. It's not an endorsement. It's not like the stamp of approval, but they know they can get away with it. They will get away with it. And they're going to do it. And it's just, I was in my mind, every time this would come up, like, when is Nintendo going to go to $70? I would always say, they're looking at their next Zelda game and they're gonna be like, really, that's worth less money on the store shelves than Returnal or Gotham Knights? That's weird. We don't think that. But even as I was saying that, I'm like, well, then they'll wait until the next console to raise the prices. But that entire time, I'm like, well, I was using Zelda as an example, and that was going to be on this system, and here they are. Here they're going to go for it with this Zelda. So yeah, and the Breath of the Wild sold 25 million copies. Even if going to 70 causes them to only sell like 20 million copies instead, they're still going to pull that trigger.
Yeah. I mean, it's just, it's not surprising. And you know what? Like, you tell me a better time to do this than, or not a better time, but like from their position
to do it.
Yeah.
Right?
Bigger game.
Like, come on, like this is it.
Yep. They said that they are not going to make every game $70. They'll decide on a game-by-game basis. But let me ask you guys, Metroid Prime 4, 60 or 70?
70.
70, yeah.
Yeah, the next 3D Mario game, 60 or 70.
70,
yeah.
Easy, yeah.
That's not this year's Pokemon, because that'll be DLC, but next year's Pokemon game.
Oh, 140.
$140. Absolutely.
Yep.
Yeah, for both.
Each color. Yep.
Exactly. Yeah. Yep. So it's they said it's not going to become a trend. It's going to become a trend very, very quickly. By this time next year, we'll be like hearing most of the games that people talk about when they talk about Nintendo are going to be $70.
Say Luigi's Mansion 4 was coming out soon. 60 or 70.
70. After Zelda.
It has sold 11 million copies, 12 million copies or something like that. It's
because that game fucking rules.
Yeah. I think they would probably be like, that's the kind of game that we want to tell people that also is $70. But like Metroid Dread 2, Metroid Dread was $60.
Correct. That feels like a 60, but
65.
We are just like throwing such arbitrary like nonsense against the wall with like the justification for like why
there's no, but that's the thing. There is no justification.
Yeah.
They don't have to justify it to you. They can say take it or leave it.
Exactly. I mean, it's the same methodology of like, Super Mario Odyssey is still a $60 game 5 years after it came out. Like,
right.
Well, so this is
people are like so apparently Tears of the Kingdom is 18 gigabytes, and that means it wouldn't fit on a 16 gigabyte Nintendo Switch card, which are the ones that are like that most big games use those. Very few of them use the 32 gigabyte because it's significantly more expensive to print those. So it's like, this will be on a 32 gigabyte cartridge. That's why it has to cost more. No. It has nothing to do with it. Why? It's because they can get away with it.
Yeah, what the
It's not because their costs are more. It has nothing to do with it. Yep. And don't work yourself into a shoot about this. They are just charging you more because they can. Yep.
Yeah. Grow up.
Grow up. A few other Nintendo Direct tidbits. Pikmin 4 got its release date, July 21st. I'm very excited.
60 or 70. 60 or 70.
I think they confirmed that 160. So there we go. I think Zelda will be like the 170 this year, but when we start getting this stuff,
That is actually surprising.
Yeah, but I think they're like happy to just let Zelda stand on its own for now. Samba de Amigo Party Central is coming this summer. It's a Samba de Amigo game where you shake the maracas, a word I completely 100% remember every time I need to remember it. But you play with the Joy-Cons. So yeah, that's fun, but it's not as fun as maracas. Ghost Trick is getting a port from the DS to the Switch. It's coming this summer as well. Splatoon 3 is getting 2 waves as part of its expansion pack. Wave 1 is Inkopolis this spring. Wave 2 is called Side Order. It's a single-player expansion, and it's coming at some point later in the future. Advance Wars 1+2 Reboot Camp got a new release date. It finally exists again. April 21st. It'll be here in no time. And then Baten Kaidos 1 and 2 HD Remaster coming summer. And then there's the new Professor Layton game, Professor Layton and the New World of Steam, excuse me. And that's just coming at some point. They didn't give it a date. I thought that was a pretty good direct.
Oh, great direct. I don't know what else people wanted. You ran a poll on Game S Mornings, Grub, and surprised people gave it a B, and I'm like, that was an A for me, dog.
People pretty tough graders with directs. They need the big surprises, and if you're not I don't really get being a Nintendo fan, not being a GameCube person, but they exist. If you're not a GameCube person and Metroid Prime doesn't like super excite you, I can kind of see not being like, oh, I wish there was just one more thing for me.
B's a bad grade though, like.
You get like a trailer for Tears of the Kingdom, you get the Game Boy, you get the GBA, you get Metroid Prime dropped on the same day. I'd be like, that's a lot of stuff. Thanks, man. Cool.
C territory, I'm troubled for sure, but I think B is okay. Well, what did A come in at?
It was like just under, right?
Second? I think it was the second most popular answer, I think. Okay. Yes. Yeah. So, it's a well-regarded direct, I think. I think some people just needed one more thing for them. So, I get it. Moving on, there are reasons to hope that Pokemon can be transferred to Pokemon Stadium. Now, Jan, do you remember this when Pokemon Stadium got announced as part of being part of Nintendo Switch Online?
Yes.
The N64 app. There was a little warning at the bottom said there's no way to transfer Pokemon to this game to play with your own Pokemon. They have shown that trailer again, and they've dropped that warning. Now, do you think that's just the lawyers slipping, or do you think that now that Game Boy, Game Boy Color, Game Boy Advance are part of Nintendo Switch Online, they are looking toward a future where you can play the games there and transfer those Pokemon into Pokemon Stadium?
Short answer, I just don't care anymore, Grub.
Yeah.
Just don't care.
I could see your soul sort of just slipping away.
Slowly leaving my body. Ash is done with Pokemon. I'm done with Pokemon.
Wow. Is he done? Is that what the last episode's about? He's just like, I hate these fucking things.
No, he reached his pinnacle. He reached his apex mountain. And I'm like, I'm done now, dog. I'm gonna hang the balls and dip.
That's what. Hang the balls and dip.
That's it.
Yeah, I'm gonna dip my balls.
But I mean, like, I know that there are people that meticulously transfer their Pokemon from game to game to game, and people have had Pokemon since the Game Boy and have did the daisy chain of transferring Pokemon all the way to like the newest gen. So I know that it means a lot for them. So I hope that this means that maybe there are systems in place to move Pokemon around. That being said, I still don't care.
Yeah, what makes me think that this is real is that it sounds like it would just work between the systems on the Nintendo Switch Online, and that means people wouldn't be able to bring in their Pokemon from other things or Pokemon Home, and there would be like no communication there. I'm like, that sounds just broke ass enough to be a solution that Game Freak and Nintendo come up with. So I'm like, yeah, I like the sound of that. That sounds like something they would do. But yeah, I mean, as of today, no mainline sort of Pokemon game like that has been announced for Nintendo Switch Online. It's still just a Pokemon the trading card game is coming at some point in the future. So if this happens, it's not going to happen for a while.
Yeah. I can't believe I'm still paying $15 a year for Pokemon Home. I can't believe I'm doing it.
I bet Nintendo and Game Freak can totally believe that you're doing that though.
Yeah. They know. Never mind.
There could be a state of play soon. On Game This Morning, someone named Jeff Grubbs said a state of play is coming soon, possibly by the end of this month. And then Sony is planning to have, I mean, things could change, but right now the plan is to have a bigger PlayStation showcase before June, before the typical E3 time. I like to repeat because people started saying, "Oh, there's gonna be another bigger state of play later." It's not a state of play. The showcase is different. They treat them differently, and they are equivalent to their E3 shows. It's a PlayStation showcase. Should happen by June. So yeah, a couple big shows I would expect here, but that first state of play would likely be significantly smaller. And might disappoint some people. It's a state of play. That's what happens a lot of times. But we should get one of those here. I think a little bit after the PSVR launches. That makes sense to me. They can get past the PSVR. Do a state of play, remind people about the PSVR, and then talk about what's coming for the rest of this year. That is not going to be in that showcase. Just maybe one of the live service games they've been working on, a handful of other stuff that they're mostly probably stuff that their partners are working on, and then they can brace for the showcase probably in May. But around that time.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
I just don't know what they're going to talk about, but other than PSVR 2.
Yeah, I think that people have PS5 Pro. No thanks.
No,
I don't think we're talking about
don't put that juju in the world, man.
Yeah, what are you doing? What are you doing?
Bring out Talk the Power of Juju. That's the juju I want.
Yes, that's the juju we need. What are they going to talk about? Yeah, right. I think maybe it's the time for the Last of Us factions. Give us a full breakdown of that. Coming off the show should be ending, right? Its first season should be over here pretty soon. And so it's like, okay, well, those people that since the show started have gone back and gotten The Last of Us and then got The Last of Us Part 2. Maybe you played it, maybe you're replaying it, maybe actually a game like that isn't your kind of thing, but you want to experience time in that world. Well, here's what you could do in The Last of Us factions. And we're going to explain that, and then they're going to try to launch that game. And my guess that game's going to be kind of a mess because it's the first live service game out of Naughty Dog, but we'll see.
Twisted Metal, is that show coming out soon, or?
Yes, it is. Anthony Mackie.
Anthony Mackie,
really?
Will Arnett,
yeah,
Samoa Joe, yeah. So they're filming that. It's launching by the end of this year. So yeah, maybe they talk about that. That seems like the kind of thing that would be in this state of play. And then massive things that we have no idea about, and then updates on Spider-Man 2. That's the stuff you put in a showcase.
Sure.
So,
hey, Mark Acree, I'm calling it.
Oh,
say it again, Mark Acree.
You be my crow daddy.
Oh yeah.
We should just slip that into the GameCube UPF and be like, this is an honorary GameCube game.
It really is, truly.
It really is.
Don't mind these squares and X's and circles.
Mad.
Yeah.
All right. Next Call of Duty might be a full release after all. Activision previously said, or maybe implied to investors, that they would be skipping 2023 in terms of releasing a full brand new Call of Duty, and instead would have a premium release is how they would frame it. And the thinking there was like this would be premium DLC for Modern Warfare 2. That's shifted. It sounds like this is going to be a full release again, led by Sledgehammer. We'll even have a campaign. How excited are you, Jeff Bakalar?
Oh, I am underwhelmed in the biggest possible way. Not even whelmed, just underwhelmed by the prospect of another one of these.
It's supposed to be, if it's supposed to be DLC, that means it's going to be Modern Warfare related. So it's going to be like Modern Warfare 2 and then another Modern Warfare game of sorts. That seems weird.
They're getting more modern.
It does seem very weird. I mean, does this build off the thing you were talking about at the top, where like expectations were still not being met?
I mean, I think somewhere along the line they realized we can't skip a year. It's Call of Duty, and Call of Duty's got a ship. So
I mean, I if I'm taking the temperature of the vibe out there, people. I think that obviously this last one had legs that took it further along than Vanguard. I mean, come on, that was just like the equivalent of putting your name on the test. But
yeah,
there's the bounce off rate comes for us all, and I just don't think I think too many contributing factors that were atypical of a release that led to that original Modern Warfare's just catastrophic takeover are not being met again with these. Yeah,
Warzone 2 is really, really not pleasing most fans.
It's just
it's worse.
Everyone's got such a hot take on it. Everyone's got very specific formulated opinions. Like it's just not it's not a crowd, a general crowd.
Right.
Pleaser.
So it's like, is this a chance for them to relaunch that along with this other stuff and kind of reset everything with Modern Warfare 2, which still has a lot of the elements that made Modern Warfare work, but is missing some key stuff. And like, maybe try again. So it's a chance for them to just try that exact thing again. We'll see.
Perhaps. But like, there's got to be a certain amount of times before you're just like, all right, well, now maybe we just start from scratch again.
Yeah, it's just so fraught because, Dr. Randall says, didn't everyone like the last one? I think people generally like Modern Warfare 2's.
That's not good enough.
Traditional, exactly. Yeah. They like the traditional multiplayer. They were fine with the campaign. It's a good game. It sold very well, and that is not good enough anymore. Yeah, they have put themselves in a corner with Call of Duty that is impossible.
Yes, impossible expectations, impossible metrics for growth. And also, you can deliver what is pretty much widely regarded as like a good release, and it's just not enough.
Yep, they've min-maxed themselves into a situation where
all right, Ben Hansen.
Ben Hansen has done this. I'm not saying he's guilty of everything.
Blood on his hands. Everyone knows it.
They have Call of Duty, and that's it. And they used to have stuff like, we have Guitar Hero as well. We have Skylanders. They don't have any of that shit anymore. The people that used to make those things are all working on Call of Duty now because while they had a chance to chase other opportunities, that is no longer a possibility. Opportunity cost demands everybody available working on some form of Call of Duty. And now they have nobody and nothing else to fall back on. And so that's why they need Microsoft to buy them, because they have no idea what to do next. Yep. It's just a mess over there. Speaking of which, at the same time, Activision is abandoning work from home policies. I got someone I got tipped off on this yesterday. There's some stories about it today. Basically, they're like, hey, we need everyone back in the office collaborating again. And most people are pretty upset about this. They were under the impression that this would not happen. And so a lot of people have moved away. A lot of people sold their vehicles. A lot of people have built their life around working from home. And, there's no sort of hard evidence given to people about why this is better, other than the imaginations of executives saying, I imagine you collaborating better when you're in office together. Therefore, you should do that, because that's when I pretend in my head, that's what it looks like. And that's not enough for most people, but they're not the ones calling the shots. So Activision's doing this, and it's pushing a lot of employees away.
It's unfortunate. I can't say anything else other than that sucks.
Yep.
And then when you say that it's Activision, it's like, oh, I get it.
Yep. So go ahead.
No, I guess it's not a position that like every corporation can slot into and have like an overarching take on, right? Where basically what I'm saying is like, not every company can just say, oh, you have to get back to work. You have to come in. Mm-hmm. That's what makes us better, right? So it's like, all right, well, what are you basing that on? Also, what I don't understand is like, to me, the overhead that you are able to sort of skirt around by not, housing people for 8 hours a day, right? Like, is that not attractive? Like, what is the thing? Is it literally just as you put it, as this sort of like fantasy corporate sort of like perspective where it's like, you gotta, if you're not face to face, you can't get anything done.
You can crunch in person.
Yeah.
Yep.
I don't get it.
I think it's mostly the imagination, the overactive imaginations of executives. The only place they have imagination and creativity is ways we can get people to work in more oppressive ways. It's weird. It's
not like any of these CEOs or like C-level people are like actively going into the whatever office environment themselves, right? At Activision, it's how often was Bobby headed to the office?
I mean, if he was, it's because he's some weirdo who didn't want to be at home or something. Like, so it's, I mean, the potential for collaboration might exist more spontaneously when people are working together, but also like people can have that spontaneous sort of bonding with the people in their lives, and you're replacing one with the other. Like you're making that choice for people when you're saying you got to be in the office. And it's like, I mean, do we know that it's worth that cost? You're telling people it's worth that cost to you. You're not giving them the chance to make that decision themselves. And it's like, I don't know. I think a lot of people are going to keep looking around and say, I know we're getting a lot of layoffs in the video game industry, but the one thing all these companies still need is content. And even companies like Take-Two, when they talk about laying people off, they're not usually talking about developers that are making the games. So it's like, there's still choices. There's still places I can go out there that will give me this option. Bungie, fully remote, just fully remote. You can work from anywhere. And okay, that's one of the biggest developers in the world. They're not changing, and they're putting out a game that continues to be the talk of the town all the time. So what are we really doing here? And you couldn't even handle Bungie Activision. So yeah, we'll see.
It's just like, just give people a choice. That's it. They want to go in, great. Let them go in. Just give people a choice.
And don't pull the rug out from underneath them. If you set it up in one way, you can't force them back the other way and say that take it or leave it. You got to be like, okay, well, we are going to open the office, and maybe we'll give you incentives to come in. But if you still choose to work from home, that's fine. Yeah, we'll see. Especially because Microsoft's eventually probably still going to be able to acquire this company and change things no matter what. So we'll see if this is even a policy that lasts. Okay, that does it for the news, Jan. I would like to hand the show back over to you. And thank you, boys, for talking with me about the news today. I appreciate it. Of course.
That. I love talking about the news only with you two. I just want to let that be known. I'm going to take this show, I'm going to take this podcast and cool it down. I'm going to dip it in some water, and then we're going to shake it off, towel it dry, and then we'll be back to answer your emails. See you in a bit. Email. Yeah, I don't always have time to stop by the grocery store. They got long lines, and sometimes I just buy too much. Thanks to HelloFresh, though, I can skip the line at the grocery store and cook meals that make sure I eat well and save money. I can cook a restaurant quality meal right in my own kitchen, y'all. Forget takeout, forget delivery. Yo, I made a Southwest cavatappi in no time, and it tasted dope. I didn't even know what a cavatappi was, but now I do, and I now know how easy and fast it is to cook with HelloFresh, y'all. Everything is all measured out. It couldn't be more simple. Go to HelloFresh.com/bombcast65 and use code bombcast65 for 65% off plus free shipping. That's HelloFresh.com/bombcast65 and use code bombcast65 for 65% off plus free shipping. HelloFresh, America's #1 meal kit. You know, there's a lot of little side talk that gets lost in between the breaks during here in the Giant Bombcast. And it's just nothing but magical content that you can inspire by sending an email to bombcast@giantbomb.com. That's right, folks. It's time to emails. Wait, emails. Emails. You can send them to bombcast@giantbomb.com. Send your hot emails. You can talk about video games, and send virtually any and everything. Whatever quandaries you have, we will entertain them. We will talk about them. Yeah, just upload a CD. Just burn that CD, download the CD, and send it to us here. First email comes from Mace from Tacoma, Washington. Hey all, I am absolutely enamored with Hi-Fi Rush, due in no small part to its excellent soundtrack and its prominent featuring of songs by my favorite band of all time, Nine Inch Nails. What are some songs you'd like to see in a potential sequel or DLC? Keeping with Nine Inch Nails, I would like to see The Hand That Feeds or Less Than featured, as well as songs by bands like Queens of the Stone Age, Idols, and Turnstile. Much love, Mace from Tacoma.
Yeah, it's a good soundtrack. I think that some of the deep cuts were pretty good. I think the Perfect Drug at the end was the highlight for me. In terms of what I want to hear, I think there's a lot of stuff that's like, I would like to hear Kenna from when I was in school, but no one knows that. So I'll just say, do like one with like just all of the pop music from the 90s, Britney Spears, NSYNC, Backstreet Boys. I think going that big would be really fun, and I think that's the right era. We don't need to go before that with the gigantic pop stars like Michael Jackson. Just give me Britney Spears. I think that'd be really good.
Give me more. Give me.
I mean,
more.
I'm never gonna say no to Britney Spears. I think you do an entire Rusted Root version of this game would be amazing. I just need that to happen. No, I'm kidding. What I'm not kidding about is do a fucking Motown Hi-Fi Rush.
That'd be cool.
Think about a Motown Hi-Fi Rush. Okay, the time signatures, all that would work so goddamn well. Okay, it would be. God, I get chills just thinking about it. God knows how much it costs to license out a lot of those classics from that era. But it's not. We're not showing our age right now. Anyone can appreciate Motown. It doesn't matter how old you are. Get out of here.
I can't tell you my shame that just happened when you said Motown. The song that popped in my head is that Billy Joel doo-wop song. Like, maybe the whitest moment of my life. Maybe. I'm sorry, everybody. I like to apologize.
It's okay. Grub.
It's okay. Nobody's perfect. It's fine. We do not need a Billy Joel version of
No, we don't.
Hi-Fi Rush.
We don't.
Although, I would fucking play that too.
I mean, I would, but we don't need it. Okay, we don't need it.
Ska Hi-Fi Rush. Let's go. Let's do it.
Did the song Georgie Porgy, is that originally a Toto joint?
I don't know it.
No, I don't know it either.
Never mind.
List of Toto songs.
Tribe is the only one that comes up.
Yeah, Georgie Porgy is a Toto song.
Is it?
Interesting.
Cool.
I need more hip hop in video games, man. Give me some Outkast in there. Imagine trying to keep up with the beat to something like Bombs Over Baghdad.
Oh, yeah.
And then it's
just impossible.
Oh my god, the boss battle that could happen with that song. Whew.
Take the Def Jam Vendetta soundtrack and just apply it to this.
Yes.
That'd be pretty good. That's another game we could play on GameCube Day.
Oh man.
An 80s synth version of it? That'd be all right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yacht Rock Rush. Give me that.
Yes.
Oh, just Hall & Oates Hi-Fi Rush.
Hall & Oates, Michael McDonald, Steely Dan.
Let's do it. Give me nothing but the early 2000s YouTube era of people beatboxing.
There you go.
And then people pretending like they can beatbox. Give me Pitch Perfect 1, the Cup song. Bring back the Cup song.
Oh, Cups is awesome. I fucking love dude, that is my guilty pleasure is Pitch Perfect. Not even guilty. Proud pleasure. It's a proud pleasure.
There we go. Hey.
Would you guys be okay if these songs like Elite Beat Agents was all covers, but they were really, really, really good covers?
They were.
So would you guys be okay with getting your favorite songs if they were really good covers?
Totally.
No.
Oh.
I would be fine, but I'm not surprised. There's some purists out there who would be like Baccalaureate.
Yeah, it bothers me. I don't know why. I don't know. But I'll say this. Elite Beat Agents was so perfectly spot on where it's almost like it seems like an infringement as it is. Like what?
Mike says the Jumping Jack Flash in that game is better than the Rolling Stone version.
Okay. Well, look, he is like 0 for 1,000 with takes about music.
What's the Chicago song?
Oh God, yeah. You're my inspiration.
Yo, the Elite Beat Agents version of that.
You're the inspiration.
Beautiful.
It's the best. Also, can I just say too, I haven't talked too much about Hi-Fi Rush. Dude, my kid is playing through the whole thing by himself.
Hell yeah.
He is loving it. He is just like the cutscenes. Like he's also learning. It's probably the most sophisticated game. I'm talking outside of the rhythm stuff because he's doing the rhythm stuff. But that's the best part of this game is like you don't need to do that. You can still play it and progress. But he's like buying upgrades and he's understanding those mechanics. He's understanding like that. This game. What a surprise blast he is having with it.
That's awesome.
So sick.
Next email, I believe it was a thing that popped up on the voicemail dump truck 707.
Yeah, I can speak to this.
Oh, okay. Were you not on this one?
No, I think I was on this one.
Okay.
Yeah, the roadkill. Yeah.
All right. This comes from Cody from York, Maine. Dear Bomb Crew, I like to think of myself as someone who would not eat roadkill, but unfortunately, I can't say that I never have. Back when I was in high school, we were sitting in English class when one of my classmates came in with a big bowl of deer jerky he made. He then offers a piece to anyone who wanted to try it, till most of the class, including my teacher, was eating a piece. It was while everyone was enjoying the jerky that another classmate asks if he had shot the deer himself, and his reply was, "No, I was just driving home from school one day and seen it sitting on the side of the road, so I just threw it in the back of my truck. Thanks for your consistent uplifting entertainment, Cody from York, Maine."
Yo, you don't just pick up a deer and throw it in the back of your... A deer's like 600 pounds, 700 pounds. What are we talking about?
There are definitely smaller
Well, then you ran over Bambi, okay?
Well, yeah.
What are we... Oh, that's fucked. I mean, look, I don't know. I feel like once an animal has been like killed by a car, it's sort of like tainted. Like its soul is tainted. It depends
what kind of car it was, though, you know?
You mean like if it was a Porsche, it's like, it's up in value? It's like more...
No, I feel like it's sad if it's a Porsche. If it's a good old truck, then it's like okay.
If it got hit by like a F-150, then like, hey, this is this is blessed, right? Like, I'm just saying, it's crazy to me. There's that, like, as soon as tire marks are on a freaking like animal, like, that's it. It's over.
Yeah, but if it's like, what if it's just the imprint of a grill on the front of like a Subaru? If that's on the side of the deer, I think I'll eat that. No,
I'd eat around that.
Okay.
People in chat are saying, I grew up in New Jersey. All I do is see deer. I live in New Jersey.
Okay,
all I do is see deer.
A female moose weighs between 440 and 1,100 pounds. So I think deer are smaller than that. So have you been seeing moose this entire time? Moose.
You mean meese?
Meese. Have you been seeing meese this entire time? Yeah.
How heavy is a deer?
It's like 140 pounds. Yeah.
Word, really? No, really? That's all they weigh?
I mean, I think if you think of like a giant
I've seen some
reindeer,
big boys
they can look heavy. I know what you mean, but yeah.
They're big. I weigh 180 pounds. A deer looks way bigger than me, man.
It's because they got tiny legs, you know?
How much does
the legs are nothing. They're just like chopsticks. I don't know. There's a family that lives like in my little area, and I know the family because I know the mark on the mom's ass.
Sure.
Why do I say everything out loud?
You know the mark on the mom's ass. Yeah.
But I just know the deer.
Follow the wild, baby. Mark a Cree, mark on the mom's ass.
Like, I just know that it's got like a little mark, and I'm like, oh, there she is. And she's always got a couple.
I'm also a mark for it too, baby.
Tell me what that mark do, mama. Yeah.
So, and I'm looking at her a lot, and I like see, and I'm just like, like they will straight up walk along my like backyard patio. Like they will just be like, what's up? Like, and you see these things, you see them breathing, and they just do not look 160 pounds. I guess I'm wrong. You can't argue with like all these deer pervs that know better than me, but goddamn.
Clydesdale weighs...
you're picking up 160-pound deer?
There's some people that can do it.
A lever pulley system.
Yeah.
I could to like get it up in the bed of a truck. I could lift 160
It would be
pounds
difficult.
That way.
You'd have to pull the back thing, and you'd be like, you just sort of drag it up on.
You'd like wrap it in a blanket and like drag it up there.
You use your knee to shimmy it a little bit.
Yeah,
I'm trying to like find like heavy animals. A Clydesdale is 2,000 pounds. A Clydesdale horse.
Clydesdale.
It's a Clydesdale. You know the horse from the Budweiser commercials?
What's a horse?
They're like very prestigious looking horsies. Yeah, they look like they have like.
They're like horses
robes.
if horses were tanks.
Oh, this is Big Horse. Got it.
Yes.
All right.
Big, scary horse.
He looks like he has fun
honestly,
shoes.
That's terrifying. They weigh as much as a car. That's
they are.
Have
you, John? I'm forever terrified of horses after watching one of the John Wick movies, where John Wick uses a horse to murder a man.
Dude, horses kill people by accident all the time. They get trampled.
Is it on accident?
I don't think we can prove it's on accident. Do you know that the way horses evolved, that their legs are actually basically just the evolution of their fingers? And so there's these giant...
Talking. Actually say less. Say less.
It's true. They're basically, so they're just these giant bodies walking around on elongated, thick fingers. I hate it.
All right.
Isn't also like a horse hoof basically just the nail? Like they're just walking on their nails.
Email comes
Yeah, I think
from
so. Yeah, they're
Andre
it's like,
from
how do the wild horses
Sweden.
even work? And I guess the answer is
Wait, before you get to the next one, I want to also defend my very off deer weight perception
I
situation.
feel like we're gonna get a chance to talk about it next week with all the emails too. But go ahead.
Like I said, I grew up. No one has seen more deer than anyone from New Jersey. They literally like it's us and them. That's all it is. There's nothing but deer in New Jersey. So a lot of friends growing up. I've been in car accidents hitting deer. It's right when you hit one. It's very sad for sure. But like the car gets fucked up, not the deer. The deer's like, ow. Bye. And it just so hopefully it just walks away. That thing is built like a tank, though. That's why my perception was so off. I was like, oh, they must be 500 pounds because look what they do to cars. They fuck cars up. They are big, scary animals. Anyway,
I'm asking Dan Reichert how much he thinks a deer weighs.
oh, dude, here's what, man.
He
He's
can
by
pop
himself
in at any point now.
He's by himself. He's gonna search it. He's gonna I gotta be about
I'm not the
40.
Google it.
Come on. Oh, really?
How much does a deer weigh? Don't Google it.
We got to go to a zoo one day and just like point out animals and just guesstimate how much they weigh.
Is 500 that bad of a guess?
Listen, I was kind of right there with you because I'm like, I know there's some big boys out there. Now I know there are ones that are smaller, but I don't know. I'm bad at that sort of thing.
Yeah, it's tough. I'm good at guessing people's weight, but
I've
not
never held
deer.
a deer, so I would have said 200 max.
Yeah.
All right. Next email. Send your deer factoids and meese factoids and deer experiences.
I was thinking about a lucha deer. My bad. I'm sorry. Those are hefty.
The mask alone is 300 pounds.
Right.
Next email comes from Andreas from Sweden. Hi, Bombcast. Well, thank you for writing this while and thinking of us. While pooping, I was suddenly assailed by a series of questions coming to mind, which I hope that you all, as experts, can shed some light on. Is having a shaved head a hairstyle? What about just being bald? Partially bald and shaving the remaining hair off? You shave any part of your body, except the palms of your hands and soles of your feet, which are the only skin on the body with no hair, fun fact, and then let it grow back. At what point does it stop being shaved and start being stubble? What about if you shave some peach fuzz that doesn't get real stubbly? With love, Andreas from Sweden.
What?
I think I'm an expert on this.
What is this?
Okay, if you have any hair growing off your head and you have to do something with it to maintain anything, I think that counts as a hairstyle.
Of course.
I think Jeff Backlar has a hairstyle.
Yeah, like my hair, it's so shitty. And it's so pathetic, the top of my head right now. Where like a couple hundred strands of hair just like, I can do it. I'm just like, shut up. Shut up, you stupid, pathetic hair. But like, aside from the top dome, the hair around the side is growing as if I'm 18 years old. It like grows and grows. If I let it out, it would be horrific. I could really do Carl from Aqua Teen, like straight up. Okay. So yeah, you guys have both amazing heads of hair, but yeah, like you have to take care of it. If I don't shave my head for like 2 weeks, my wife is like, I don't want to look at you. She's like, it's time. She goes, I don't want to look at you. And then I gotta shave it.
In about like 3-4 months, this thing's gonna be a real mess up there. If I don't get it cleaned up at all, it's gonna be the Jeffro. It's gonna be awkward.
Oh,
it's gonna be awkward for everybody.
I cannot wait.
Yep. So
shouts out to Barbara Jan for not pointing out something that I found immediately after my haircut is that I just have a cropping of white hairs just coming in on the side here, and it's freaking me out. My mortality is catching up with me.
That's the stress.
Is it just like a concentrated location, or is it just peppered?
It's like lightly peppered here, but it's only on the sides of my hair. It's not on top.
That's like Paulie Walnuts. That's nice.
I don't understand that reference, but I'm just
it's a Sopranos.
It's Sopranos.
Yeah.
Should I get into the Sopranos?
I mean, you're 30. You're supposed to. I feel like.
Yeah.
Right.
Then you get your DVD box set. They just send them out to you.
They're like
okay.
Yeah, like all the
Come with your COVID
youngest.
test.
You're like a millennial. You're like the youngest millennial, right?
I think Lucy's the youngest millennial.
Okay, well, like, yeah, you like, there's we talked about this, but like, there's this renaissance of people discovering Sopranos for the first time who are in their 30s, 20s, and 30s. So, like, go for it. Yeah.
Okay. Next email comes from Jorgen from Norway. Hello, friends. Why do you say Wario like World Wario 2? He is the opposite of Mario. You take the M, turn it upside down, so it's
here we go.
Wario. Mario.
Mario.
You don't say Morio or Whoa
Wario.
Luigi. Your insight on this issue is appreciated. Best regards, Jorgen from Norway. All right, I'm just gonna
Mario.
I'm just gonna bring up something that I saw in the Twitch chat. I'm not gonna name the specific chatter, but they had specifically put the 3 worst people for pronunciation. And listen, folks, as someone that occasionally purposely messes up pronunciation and puts the wrong emphasis on words and syllables, I can't help you here.
Yeah, like
just deal with it.
Do you know who hosts this show?
Exactly. You know, I have a plethora of things to say right now. So I wrote it down in my clipboard. It's all great. Yeah. Exactly. And then you got Jeff Grubb here. You got Bacalar. It's going to be... We're going to redefine the English language starting on the
What'd you expect?
You know?
Mario.
Wario.
Is that not how I'm supposed to say it?
I thought it was Wario. I say Wario.
Yeah.
Wario.
If they wanted it to be Wario, Wareio.
Should we be calling War? Let's go to War.
War, what is it good for?
I mean, in that context, sure. War, right?
Oh, boy.
Look, all these fuckers have terrible names that are unpronounceable. So, like, what do you want? You know,
it's unfair of us to judge, Jeff. We have the most pronounceable name in the history
we get
of the
paid
world.
to judge. That's what we do. Our jobs are judging.
Jeff. It's like a grunt almost. Jeff. It's the easiest thing to say.
Yeah.
Jeff.
I can't tell you the number of times I've had to tell someone and look them dead in their face like, no, it's not Jan, it's just Jan. It's like Dan, but with a J.
50 times a week.
Okay, when I worked at Burger King with all my Mexican buds, it was Hef the entire time. I never
Jefe, that's
I never corrected them.
Jefe means boss, right?
It's a term of
endearment. But it wasn't Jefe. It was just Hef.
So,
but I'm fine. Yeah, shout out. I'm like, listen, I'm fine with this. I can't pronounce your names either. All right, we're good.
The interesting thing that I've run into is whenever I'll just go like, yo, I'm just going to go by Jerome today, I'll have some people read it as Jeremy. And it just hurts
stupid.
me inside.
Those people are stupid.
I'm like, have you never seen Jerome?
For what it's worth, I think the name Jerome is great. I love that name.
It's good. Powerful.
I really do. I hate my name, to be clear.
I have no opinion on my name. It's whatever.
Yeah.
There's a Lizzo song where the hook is like, I think it's like, F you, Jerome, take your ass back home. And then I was sitting there at that concert, just having a whole stadium telling me to go home, and I never felt more attacked than I did in that moment. All right. Let's read one more email. I don't know why my voice went up for that.
Okay.
This one comes from Tim D from Ontario, Canada. I was going to say that weird. Hi, Bombcast crew. During the pandemic, I taught myself how to play chess with the Learn Chess with Dr. Wolf app. I was wondering if the Bomb crew knew of a game or app that does a great job teaching poker. Thanks. Longtime listener to the show. Heart emoji, Tim D from Ontario, Canada.
I'm trying, like, what is that poker night at the inventory or whatever it's called?
Yeah. I was going to say that.
That doesn't teach it very well, right, though?
No.
Like, it's okay, I suppose, but you're not going to be able to take any skills from that and go apply it to the real world.
Red Dead Redemption 2.
Yeah, there you go. Just go play it there. Because with chess, you're probably learning the strategies, and I'm sure there actually are poker apps out there that teach that. I bet they also charge you a monthly fee because becoming like game theory optimized. GTO poker is like a big thing these days, and so I bet that's like a cottage industry around that. So I bet they exist, but I bet they're also a premium cost. If you want to, really the best way to learn is go onto one of those apps that are free on the phone, where you just play for fake money, and just go start playing and see what works, what doesn't. Again, that stuff won't apply perfectly, but it's a little bit better than playing against AI.
Were you guys like, did you get sucked up in the
Chris
Hold'em
Moneymaker
craze?
Absolutely.
In the
Chris
what
Moneymaker. You were probably too young,
Hold'em.
Jan.
Oh.
In the year 2000, what was it, 2004, 2006?
Sure.
On ESPN, the World Series of Poker blew up. 2003. Thank you, Marino.
Oh.
And it was televised on ESPN. They showed the World Series of Poker, and it was like several days of airing there's like 900 people, and we're gonna go down to one, and whoever wins gets $6 million or whatever it was. And it just became super, super popular, and then everyone was playing Texas, No Limit Texas Hold'em poker, and that's when it really became really big. And Chris Moneymaker won. He was an accountant from wherever, and it changed his life and all this stuff. And then it was a fun time. It has definitely lost its luster since then, especially because that GTO stuff has taken a lot of the fun out of it.
Oh.
Why they did like it's just Moneyball, or what do you mean?
Yeah, they Moneyballed it, absolutely.
But isn't that always what it was? Like the best players just knew all the percentages.
There was a much better mixture. Yes, you should still know all the percentages, but
but also you read people. Yeah.
Right. Yes, but there was a better mix of people who are like playing their gut, and a lot of people who had like other systems. Now there is the one system where in every circumstance where you have this hand at this point, you do one thing. You have to do this one thing, and if you always play that way, you have like a 55%. You have a 55% chance of making money, and so you should always play that way. And then it's a little bit different during tournaments, but it's definitely less fun these days.
Should talk to my I got a buddy. I'm not like super close with him, but I have a friend who became a professional poker player, and I wonder what his take is on this. What do they call it? GTO?
Yeah, game theory optimized. Yeah, I think that's what it is. Yeah, I remember at that point I went online and I got in a tournament, and I got to the final table, and then I blew it right away. So I got like $600 or something like that, and that was really exciting. And then the next week I went and just played cash games at tables online and lost so much money. And I was like, well, that's it. Can't ever do that again.
Yeah, the whole gambling stuff is like
it's kind of gotten real poisonous in sports.
Oh yeah, the sports stuff is the worst.
10 years ago, you never, maybe like 15 years ago, you never would have like been like, the main thing we're talking about here is the money lines, and every single story is about like what it means for the Vegas lines, and now it's everything. Everything is just about people betting on sports, and I'm like, oh, the genie's out of the bottle. This is just going to be it from now on. There's no going back.
I mean, there's got to be some going back with how much it's on display during broadcasts. Like there just has to be a little bit.
It's only becoming more legal, though. It's only becoming more legal.
Look,
so
I think I think gambling should be legal for sure. I just think,
but it's like it's going to be everywhere.
I just think like you have to regulate the amount of exposure it has on broadcasts. Like I'm so sick of telling Dylan like what the hockey line is, like, because what am I like? It's just right. They do it during the game. It might as well be plastered on the fucking board.
Dude, we're months away from a Matt Damon commercial of him talking about DraftKings.
Dude, they already did the kid from fucking Breaking Bad. He doesn't shut up about like. It's just so annoying. It's insane. And I love how like I think
Bryan
I might have said this already. Yeah, dude, he did
the kid from Breaking Bad.
Yeah, the kid. He's like 50. No, they did. They like, and the worst part about it, and I think I said this, was like the angle, the position of like gambling is like, hey, the thing you're watching sucks. It's only good if you have something riding on it. Like football's horrific by itself. Sweeten that up with a little bit of a parlay.
The worst sport to bet on, by the way, professional football.
Oh my God.
There's just like, there's no way to like consistently win in professional football. If you want to win like basketball, baseball game every day, like that's where you do it. Football is a terrible sport to bet
actually knows how to play Super Bowl squares. Like the betting on squares,
well,
no one actually knows how to do it.
No, you don't bet on squares. It's random.
You just pick.
Yeah, that's the best. I think that's great. I like the boxes. The boxes are good. Did I win $1,000 on Sunday? Sure. But that's
good reason to like it.
But I never win And it's also the boxes. That's fun because there's no strategy. You just pick a couple boxes and there you go.
What you're the New Jersey Devil games? Where do they air on, like MSG or something? MSG Network.
Yeah.
Okay, here for the Red Wings in Detroit, it's Bally Sports Network.
Yeah.
Bally, the gambling company.
Yes.
Right.
Wait,
so
Bally is a gambling
yeah,
company?
I looked at.
Yes,
what do you think
network.
Bally is?
Oh.
Jam, what do you think Bally was?
Bally's Fitness, like the
Yeah,
gym?
me too. I thought that too.
Yeah.
I was so confused. I'm like, what the fuck why is Bally's Fitness running my stupid Red Wings games now? It's like, no, apparently it's a Bally gaming entertainment
Yeah,
company.
they took over like a regional sports network, right? Like that's
they run a bunch of them now when from the Fox deal with Disney, because Disney owns ESPN. They couldn't own those things as well. So they just stepped in like, we'll buy this and then we'll just advertise Bally Sports gambling every single second of every game. And it's like, oh my God, please stop.
And I also feel like there's got to be a diminishing return eventually. Like, I just feel like the cat's out of the bag, right? Like, and maybe that's it, right? Like, maybe there's got to just be some bit of a walk back because it's so like overwhelming, and I don't know. I feel like it's just such an uphill battle.
It's going to get real ugly before it gets better, though.
Yeah, there's going to be like some tragedies and stuff before they do anything about it.
Yeah. Well, no better way to end the Bombcast than talking about tragedy. You can send your emails about poker, deer weight, deer stories, gambling, your pronunciation of certain words, how you're bothered by how we do it.
Hang on, I got a text message here. Dan says 300. So that's less than what Bacalar said.
Does he
That's
win
closer.
Price of Right rule by
No,
Price of Right rules?
the Price of Right rules,
we
he's
both
still
lost.
over.
Yeah, we're still over. Everyone lost.
Hey, we all lost, actually.
We
all lost.
We all lost. I hope the deer jerky was good though. Backstrap.
I would try it. I wouldn't try roadkill deer jerky. I would try.
I think
regular,
I've had deer jerky before.
Like regular deer murder
regular jerky.
Yeah.
Bacalar said they weigh 400 to 500 pounds.
I think I said more. I think I said like 600.
So you think you went to 700? Yeah, you did go up to 700 eventually.
It's a whale on the ground. No, it's a land whale.
I bet a hippopotamus is probably like 2,000 pounds.
Oh, have you ever seen a hippo run? That's terrifying.
No, and I hope I never do.
It's funny. Yeah,
it's funny, but it's shockingly fast. And then just like the jaw opening. Oh my God. Send your emails to bombcast@giantbomb.com. Regular programming as per usual for the rest of the week. Game S mornings popping off the rest of the week. Voicemail dump truck Unprofessional Fridays. Friday night forking happening this Thursday. We'll get some quick looks sprinkled throughout the week. Actually, Jeff Grubb and Lucy James played Loverwatch. That is up on the site to celebrate Valentine's. It's a dating game with the Overwatch himbos.
Yeah, we
correct?
dated Genji.
Hell yeah. Dated Genji. Gave him a sandwich, was it? Something?
Yeah, we ordered the same ramen that he likes, which we both thought was a little weird, but apparently Genji really likes it when you think about him. So super selfish guy, I think. But hey, we won by winning the date. And that's how you win in dating.
There we go. And hey, we'll see you next week for another episode of the Giant Bombcast. Happy Valentine's Day, everyone. I hope you actually got your significant other a gift. And if you don't have a significant other, get yourself a gift.
Yeah.
Goodbye.